to the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode number 10. Is it 6?
6.
Yes. All right. Whoa. My fucking headphones falling
There
off.
will be no background for me. There's no option for it, and I want anyone to... I need to be aware of what's going on with that door.
That's true. That door is very, very ominous. I know.
Yeah, I gotta know if someone's gonna come through and try to kill me.
Well, this may be the only episode with this. Maybe. This might be me indefinitely, so I'm going to show it off.
This
You're
fucking
gonna see it all show.
Yep. See what happens? Fucking talk shit about the craft. You fucking tooth knocked out. See? It's fucking divine is what that is.
Manon did it.
Manon.
Your witchy powers.
Manon, Maron.
Witchy poos up in this house, man. I talked to my wife and some of her and her padrina and some other people, and we got some fucking things. We burned some sage. We had C's picture on the wall. We cut off a cow's tongue, and then we broke his tooth out and wrapped it up. And we put it in the freezer for a week.
Look at that. That's what
and
happened.
there you go. That's how it works. I know.
I ordered the craft. I got it delivered. I shit on it and set it on fire. And nothing happened.
Holy fuck. Awesome. I don't even know what I'm thinking about here.
In my living room.
There you go. So now we got fucking what's his name over here? Toothless aggression, you know?
We got who?
We got who? Kelly who? We got toothless aggression up in the house right now.
You got a little piece of black spinach right here.
Yeah, I wash myself with a rag on a stick. There's so many Simpsons quotes I could do now. Like for
now I believe you were American. That's all it took.
Oh, I'm from Alabama.
Nice.
I like to sleep with my sister. It's also my daughter.
Hey, here's my question. Are there any places like that in Canada? Like yeah, like a place that's the way you're talking about Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Like some southern states and some people with not a lot of income and they live in houses in the woods and shit like that. You know, like the people that you see portrayed in movies. Is there a section in Canada?
Well, there's remote areas that you could probably make the same jokes about, but I don't know if we've got an Alabama per se, but there's like that everywhere. But I mean, even the states shit on Alabama. If they could have 49 states, Alabama would be the first to go.
Apologies to anyone listening in Alabama right now.
Nobody is listening in Alabama.
Even Idaho wins over fucking Alabama.
Yeah, Idaho's chill. It's just potatoes and nothing happening,
And Napoleon.
Dynamite?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What a guess. Okay, right on.
Well,
I can dig it.
You only had two guesses, Dynamite or Bonaparte.
That's true. Dynamite and Bonaparte. Interesting. Yeah.
Bonaparte.
I always like that name, Bonaparte.
Me too. I want to change my last name to Bonaparte.
Yeah, well, yeah, Brandon Bonaparte. Right?
BB.
Yeah. BB, double B. You could have that could be a gimmick for you. Bonaparte. Ask your father if it's okay. Bonaparte. Bonaparte got torn apart. That'd be a good
Ask him now is what we're saying. Like
That's why the door's there. That's why he has no background. And speaking of background, I'm happy C started it. I got this here. I was stressing the fuck out because today is a special day and I wanted to have a special background just for today. But as usual, I slept in. I waited till the last minute to try to do all this stuff. I jerked off on Skype last night, and this is what I get for it. Oh. So now here I am. I know. It was a fun time, but I'm just saying. I should have been while I was on Skype, I should have been thinking about my show instead of fucking stroking Brandon in trivia. But I wasn't. But today's a special day. See? I got the shirt at least. You know what I'm talking about, people?
Look at that. Yeah, 40 years.
40 years today. Yeah, how do we not fucking celebrate that,
Yep. I had my Jason shirt on, but I switched it to Iron Maiden.
That's okay. I switched. I didn't switch. Excuse me. I'm just happy that it's the 40th anniversary. It's awesome. It's our favorite. Well, it was his favorite franchise. Maybe not anymore, apparently. But
no, it's not. Texas Chainsaw is fake fanboy here. Can you get that Jason shirt out and wrap it around where your tooth is so it doesn't distract us during the show?
I try to take any attention off that fucking hair of yours. Whatever works. I'll knock a couple more teeth out if I need to.
No, what I would do if you had the hair this long, you could pull it down and cover the tooth. Just gel it right over your mouth.
I wanted to make access for Brandon's cock a lot easier.
That's you gave it extra room there.
He's got some wiggle room in there.
Wiggle room.
Nice. Oh man. What was I gonna say?
In here too. Sorry. What?
No. It's okay. I'm just. My mind is a wreck. By the time this coffee's done, I'll be okay. But I stayed up late. I slept in.
Skype will be the death of you two.
Well, you know what? I was gonna go to bed, and I thought my wife was waiting for me, and I went upstairs, and it appeared that she was passed out. So I'm like, well, now I'm not gonna get laid. I have all this energy. I'm gonna go down and go on Skype for now. And let me preface. Let me tell you.
Skype or jerking off.
I understand, right?
That was my choice last night, and I wound up Skyping, and I regret every minute of it.
I only jerk off in my bed, so I'm not gonna jerk off with my wife. There's nowhere else really. It's too cold in this basement. I got a couch. I got a thing. I could easily jerk off in this room I'm in right now on this very couch, but it's too cold down here. It's too cold. It doesn't work. And then if I go upstairs, I don't want to jerk off on like my living room couch. My family sits there every day. Someone can come down the stairs, and I'm past doing it in the bathroom. I just can't do it there anymore. So now I can't jerk off. You know, if she's in the bed.
Frozen on your end?
No.
Oh, damn it.
Why?
I wish I'd taken a picture of the shot I got on mine. It's awesome.
He's frozen, huh?
Oh, he's gone now. I don't know what happened. What happened?
My bad.
Oh! Look at this guy.
That's when it was frozen up. Oh, you won't be able to see it. I'll post it in the page.
That's what those damn backgrounds. That's why I don't like those backgrounds. Every time you try to show something, it blurs it. Look, Dave's coffee cup is appearing, disappearing.
He could be jerking off for all we know.
You're right. I could jerk off. Holy shit. Well, this changes everything.
I saw the picture for a second. I had a goofy ass smile.
Well, here's the problem now. Now that I have a background specifically tonight, I have to show you guys a couple pictures and a couple videos at that. So this is going to be a problem. I'm going to have to take it down when that time comes, I guess. But anyway, we'll get there when we get there. It's something about you said indefinitely. So if you don't get it fixed next show, this is just you forever?
Well, not forever, but it depends. If they can't fix the damn implant, then either I've got to go through the procedure again, which is a long procedure, or I might get a flipper.
A flipper?
You're goofy looking. That's another one for the Simpsons.
There you go, see?
Yeah, you got one too.
But I can't see.
How
Yeah.
do you not see? You can't see because you have a background.
I have my screen up. Yeah, I can't see. My tooth is in the way.
He's trapped in the void.
I'm not getting an implant, though, because it's so far back. I don't care.
It happened a long time ago, or the tooth is so far back?
No, it's like, it's not where C's is, where he looks ridiculous.
Mine's right here. One of these, same thing. I'm in the same. It might even be the same tooth. Is it one of your two front, or no? Is it to the side?
Well, can't you? What do you mean? It's here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess
that's not his front. It looks like a back molar.
A wisdom tooth, you fucking skunk.
I just want to make sure it's not a tooth. There's the two in the front, and there's this and this. So
We never, ever thought that you would have a wisdom tooth. Yeah, some skunk.
So how did you lose the tooth? Could you tell us that? I'll tell an embarrassing story about how I lost mine, because I have one too, but it's obviously not knocked out. But if you want to divulge your embarrassing story, I will mine. If not, we'll move on.
22 years of age, maybe 23. It was that summer anyway. My birthday's in the summer. So we were at a bar, and we had numerous chances to leave, my buddy and I. We were with a group of people. You know, group one left. Would you like a drive home? Nah, we're good. My girlfriend leaves. Would you like a drive home? Nah, we're good. We stay one more time. The next group leaves. We're like, we'll stay just till the end. We figured we'll finish the night. We take a cab home, decide to stop at a Subway, which is a sub shop. Like a sandwich shop. Hoagie.
We know what Subway is. Here.
Well, who knows what you guys? Oh, yeah. It's an American chain.
Come on, Jared. Did you have Jared in Canada?
Yeah, he didn't diddle any Canadians, so.
I know, of course. He saved it for this country. You're right.
Anyway, so we're sitting there, and I'm pretty loud when I'm drunk.
Yeah, you got a foot long in the tooth. We got it.
Long in the tooth.
The guy comes in with his haircut, and it's cut like right across like that. So I turn to my buddy. I'm like, "Hey, look, it's Dumb and Dumber."
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that didn't go over so well. He's with a group of people. It's just me and my buddy. Things escalate. I'm wearing a shirt that was, I guess, maroon, like the shirt that Brandon made fun of last week.
What,
No wonder you got punched in the tooth.
So he made one crack about my shirt. I grabbed the guy, and the girl at the sub shop is like, "Hey, you guys take it outside." I guess that something snapped. I'm like, "What the hell am I doing?" I'm like, "Oh, okay. Sorry, dude. Sorry." We leave. Now they're pissed off. They come out, subs in hands, bottled drinks in the other hands. He comes up and he's like, hey, you wanna fight? And I'm like, my buddy's holding one of his buddies back. The other ones are in the car. This guy comes up to me. He tries to throw the drink against my head. I stop it, shatter down, throw his sub into a construction site, and he just whips around, backhands me, and my tooth came clean out like that.
Dude, is this for real?
Yeah.
That's a good story. I feel like the truth is much less interesting than that story.
No. And then there was no fight because he's just like my blood and you just knocked my tooth out. And then they just bolted, got in the car, and took off.
You just broke my glasses and knocked my tooth out.
I looked down on the ground because I'm like, I've heard that if you can find your tooth, they can pop it right back in. No tooth anyway. Like I said, the only saving grace, I feel like it was embedded in his hand. I just hope it was embedded in his hand.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a hand implant right now.
Oh,
while he's podcasting right now. He's like, tell us about how you got that tooth mark in your hand. I beat up some maroon shirted nerd in Subway about 22 years ago.
Awesome. I knew you guys could find the humor in the prick.
Poor
Oh, that's great. My tooth got knocked out too. I got fucking punched. Yeah, I knocked the fuck out. So, but what's that?
Fight as well, I'm assuming?
A what night?
Fight?
Well,
I can't pronounce F's quite right.
Not a fight. It was a fucking gut. It wasn't even a fight. Dude fucking cold cocked me and fucking knocked my tooth out, and I fucking fell back, and that was the fucking end of the fight. I just got I went down, hit my head, fucking. But
wow.
Now this asshole had no reason, no good. Okay, I was doing something I shouldn't have done, but it was none of this person's business. What's that?
Did you call him Dumb and Dumber?
No, I didn't say nothing. But this person had he just didn't like me. This asshole just didn't like me, and but just wanted an excuse. Now I went to this house party, and the party's winding down, and the person who's hosting the party, I'm not necessarily a fan of that person either. But I'm at the party with some friends, and here we are, and I decide throughout the course of the night. This is a long time ago. I'm like fucking 20 years. I don't know, younger. I don't even know how fucking old I am. I don't know. 20, 18, 19. I don't know. Anyway, I decide in my infinite wisdom that because I don't like this asshole and I see a couple fucking CDs that I'm going to steal some of his fucking CDs. Yes, I was going to fucking steal from this kid's fucking house. I was drunk.
So you deserved it.
Well, now, hold on. So I take a few CDs. One was John Lennon Imagine. I remember that one. I can't remember what the other two were.
Imagine if you had your tooth back.
I took these CDs and I put them in my coat that I was wearing on the inside pocket. But early in the night I did this. And then I stuck around throughout the course of the night. Now
Hey, look what I got. I got this CD, a little mix.
Oh fuck!
Sorry.
Well, it's great. I thought better of it. As the night went on, I started getting nervous, and I said, "Well, maybe I shouldn't do this. What are you doing?" And so then I decided I was going to give them back, and I started feeling guilty. So I told the guy, "I go, hey, after the party, I'm going to help you clean up." He's like, "Really?" I said, "Okay, whatever." You know. So now I'm planting the seeds because I made up a story. I saw a random guy at this party that I didn't know who it was. And towards the end of the night, I said, listen, I go, this guy over there, he left the party. He was here before. He had these CDs, and he walked up to me, and he handed me these fucking CDs. And the way I described them, I knew nobody was going to know who it was, or there'd be no proof of it. So he handed me these CDs. And, I don't know what they are. They're yours. You know what I mean? So I ended up fessing up and doing that. So now this other asshole hears about it, and I think whatever, he just heard the story and he thought that I was making it up because the person I was talking about wouldn't do that, even though I didn't say anybody. I just said some guy that had long hair and glasses or something. I just made something, whatever the fuck it was.
That's you.
So, yeah, Nice. See, he could do it. The fucking champ. Nice. There you go. I had the logo.
Sorry.
I had the logo with the red. You know what I mean? That's awesome. That looks really good. Anyway, so what happens is this kid gets wind of it, and there's a discrepancy. I'm talking to somebody. I barely remember. I was really drunk. I remember we were outside this house, and all of a sudden this asshole, big fucking musclehead dude, just comes out of nowhere, sees that it's me, walks up and just fucking boom, and just cold cocks me right in the fucking teeth because he heard that I stole something. And down I fucking went. I had a headache. A couple of my friends grabbed me, and that was the fucking end of it. I was out of the party because I was out and got my fucking tooth knocked out. So I got this thing. I got a cap right here. It's a fake tooth, same as you. And one day it's gonna fall out, and I gotta get it done again, right?
Well, mine is a freaking implant. They actually like drilled into my jaw, like RoboCop style, and drilled down and put a titanium implant in, and then the crown is like on a titanium screw or whatever, and then that goes in and it gets locked in. But somehow I bit into broccoli. Look at Brandon's face. Anyway, fuck you. I broke the screw somehow, and that's how I ended up like this.
Tell us about the broccoli again.
Yeah. Your head looks like a bushel of it.
Fucking titanium. He's what's his name over here, Lieutenant Dan.
What the hell's wrong?
I am titanium.
What's wrong with Annie's face? She doesn't look right there.
I don't think that's Annie.
No, not her. No, Annie in the bottom.
Yeah, she's smiling. Bottom. I know what he's talking about. Yeah, everything about those pictures are.
She looks like her tooth just got knocked out.
This prick bastard him.
How about who's behind Annie in the Jeep? Is it Steve Christie or is it Pamela?
That's Steve.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I always thought that.
Is that Barbara Steele at the top? Who is that at the top?
I was gonna say. I always thought it was Barbara Steele or like Adrienne Barbeau, but I think you're right. They just put her in there. Isn't that something?
That's weird.
I want to do a show just about foreign posters one day because some of them are just so ridiculous and they're so much fun. Have you seen some of these?
Oh, they're nutsy.
That's a cool one though, right there that you got. I would buy that. I would buy that.
There you go.
I think Vince has this one. He got it for his birthday. I'm pretty sure this is the one he got.
Yeah, I like it.
It works perfectly right now where your head is too, because your head's in the middle of those 2 pages, and you got the thing.
It looks like she's trying to bite your ear off.
Yeah, that too. She is biting. She's trying to give. You know what it is, right?
Black out one of her teeth.
Great.
Pluck. Anyway.
Okay. All right. So
my life.
Now we've loosened up.
And there's no fucking dentist open. They're open for emergency services, so luckily I could get in. But everything's COVID. They have to walk out to your car now. It's a pain in the fucking ass.
Everything's COVID now.
Everything's COVID.
Everything's COVID. Everything's all right.
Every time I hear that name, I think of my father, who used to yell at me when I was a kid. And there was this one particular time. He did this a lot more than once, but there's one particular time when we were playing Legend of Zelda all night long, and I didn't want to go to bed. It was the first day we bought it, and we're hammering away on this game, and me and my 2 friends, and they're spending the night, and we're fucking. That's a whole other. The whole Zelda story is a story in God, what a story it is. But just I won't get into that now. It'll be another time. But just to get to this moment, she's saying, "Oh, you guys got to be quiet in there. You got to go to bed." And I never listened to my mother, but my father I listened to. And it was just the way it was. So something was going on, and whatever was, she was complaining, and my father got wind of it, and he would always yell, "David, do what your mother says." right? So every time I hear the word COVID, I think David. I don't know why. COVID.
That's awesome.
Yeah. COVID and David. The only words I know of that end in the ID. There's not too many of them. You know?
That's
COVID.
true. Yeah, I never even thought of it.
David. How many words end in id? I don't know.
I wrote a nice cappuccino COVID-19 rap, but I said I'd only do it if I could get music to it, and I haven't had the chance to put music to it. So by the time I get that done, everybody's going to be like, "What the fuck are you doing a COVID-19 rap for?"
It won't even exist.
Yeah.
It's murder hornets now.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
fuck
stupid.
You guys. Yeah, I ain't even heard of this shit. I mean, I never heard of killer bees, but what the fuck? Like,
and that's what they are.
Oh my lord.
It's stupid.
They're huge. They're huge. They're nasty looking.
I don't know what the fuck they are. I've only heard the word used. I don't know a damn thing about it. All I know is that it's stupid shit. We've had killer bees.
Same thing happened after 9/11 or whatever like that. You guys get freaked out. Not you guys. Americans, they get fucking freaked out. It's like you have to jump to one fucking scare thing to the next.
It's because they watch them.
I don't think these are new, the murder hornets either. They're hornets. They bite the heads off bees.
Do they really?
Yeah, they bite the heads off bees, and there's a video of one of them killing a mouse, and one of them killing a mouse. Lands on a mouse and kills it.
Wow, that's pretty badass. But the name is just fucking stupid. They're no different than. Why are they not killer hornets? Why are they murder? How is it fucking murder? Murder hornets? If you're gonna be stupid and call it that, you may as well make it much more catchy and call them fucking homicide hornets. That's what they should be called.
It was premeditated.
HH.
It was premeditated. Yeah. That's why.
So when a killer bee kills somebody, they're not. It's not.
They're not thinking about
first,
the murder
second, or third degree murder. Is there third degree murder?
Manslaughter hornets. Maybe they got manslaughter ones.
Wrongful death hornets.
It's just a stupid name. Oh, but wait a minute. If you're saying that bee, I can understand why. Okay. So the way they act, it's premeditated, so therefore they're murder. They're not killer.
It was a bad joke, evidently.
I know. It was a bad joke. No, I thought it held weight.
No, it is a stupid name. I prefer homicide hornets.
Homicide hornets has a much better fucking ring to it. Come on. Murder. How stupid. Or just call them killer. Call them what it is. Murder is fucking. Come on, man. This isn't murder. Hornets are murdering me. You know what I mean? Are you going to call fucking 911? I'm being murdered by hornets. Who's going to say that?
Get some rain and shut the fuck up.
Murder. I want to start it. Homicide hornets is what it should be. I'm sorry.
First degree murder bee or killer bee. First degree killer bee.
Killer bee. Teflon bee. Teflon bees.
He is Teflon bee. That's right. Teflon bees. Oh, fuck. Okay. Whew, I'm getting hot already. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we doing tonight, Dave?
What are we doing tonight? We're doing 3 movies, of course. We're doing, you know what the show can be called? Witches and Werewolves. How about that for you? Because that's what we be talking about. Witches and Werewolves. Yeah.
I'm not putting that on any of the promotional materials. Sort of.
Of course not. I'm just showing a little creativity in the little bit I have. Witches and Werewolves. So we're talking about the Lords of Salem. We're talking about An American Werewolf in London. And we're talking about The Autopsy of Jane Doe. And I will let you know who brought them to us when the time comes. Because I didn't. When I take my notes, I don't have that in front of me. But I have it somewhere else. So we do have to give props. You got to give props where someone's doing it. We're going to have a drawing later, which is going to be half-assed. But this is the last time we can do it for this month. And we have to do it now because next month some of the patrons might not be there. So somebody
have two drawings because I'm gonna draw a Christian with that ridiculous gap in his teeth and give it away.
God, I hate you.
Oh shit. So there you go. Now we've decided
have I mentioned that it's deep rooted.
I want both your fucking heads right. You haven't done it.
2 fucking pendulums.
When it goes off on the head, right?
Yeah.
Nice. We're doing good. We haven't had any cock and balls talk yet. Let's keep it going. We're okay. We're okay. We haven't gone over the quota. You know, give it some time. So yeah, you know what's coming at one point or another. It's a given.
all over your face. Sorry. It was inevitable that it was going to have to be said. So.
Do you know that Darcy girl from fucking Joe Bob is like a porn star? Like a real porn star.
Oh, I don't watch Joe Bob, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, everybody seems like they do. So I heard somebody mention
It's an American thing.
I don't watch Joe Bob.
I don't have time to because I watch. Would you say? See?
Except if you're in Jersey.
Yeah. Well.
Or Alabama.
I never watch them because I'm usually watching something for today. We record Saturdays. I watch the movie on Friday, at least one. You know, so I just, sorry. It isn't that I don't want to, but I've never been the type of guy that has to watch something live that's recorded anyway, though. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I hear you. I actually don't even know if he's on. I'm assuming it's on Canadian Shudder. I'm pretty sure I've seen his face there, but I'm not even too sure. I'll actually give it up on Shudder. I think I'm going to stop my subscription.
What? You're the king of stream.
That $4 a month, it's killing you?
It's a bit more in Canada, but not much more. No, it's just not. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't really think it's all. It was good at one point. I think it's kind of started to suck.
They haven't been releasing as much new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still love them, but hey.
I go on it and I'm like, nah. I'll go get something from my library or whatever.
Or your library. Let me go to the library. Oh, let's look at the stacks.
The card catalog.
Do you have one of those ladders that you climb up that slides like Hannibal Lecter?
I bought this up myself. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. At least you could do that. That's fucking awesome. Wow. So this girl, but here the Shudder, you should keep it because there's always original programming that's really good. Like if there's at least, okay, maybe not at least. There's about right now. There's a movie that everybody's talking about that should be seen. Maybe even 2 of them on Shudder right now. Quantum something or some shit. And
it's not on Canadian. Piss me off. It's a fucking Canadian movie. It's not on Canadian Shudder.
Wow.
Quantum Blood Quantum. Go fuck Blood Quantum. I want to see it, but it's not on Canadian Shudder. So I'm going to download it illegally. Fuck them.
There you go. Good. And there's a new movie called Z, by the way. Z. So.
Some people talking about that. That's not on Canadian Shudder either, which is weird because someone told me it was on I think someone posted it was on UK Shudder. No?
I don't know.
I thought someone posted it on their page. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm on the actual Shudder app. And none of these movies are popping up.
There's also a new film called The Siren. It doesn't pass the Dave Z cover art test, but it is from the director who did They Look Like People.
They look like people.
One is on it. Even Shudder.
Yeah, so I kind of want to check it out just because it's his next film.
Okay, question. See, your Shudder app, what does it go through? Does it go through Amazon?
It's direct Shudder app.
On what though? Like an Xbox or something?
I can do it on my iPad. It's just Shudder, the app. On an iPad, I go to the website, no matter what I do, it's not on there.
They're really sticking it to Canadians. You're right. You know what? Remember how I think you're onto something. Because
Screenbox all the way! Actually, I have no clue. It's not even available in Canada.
Screenbox is terrible.
It's not even available in Canada. They might as well give up. Yeah. Tubi TV all the way!
Yeah, good old Tubi. So they're fucking you big. They're not giving you things. And you said last week that Eli Roth's show, which is a Shudder show, they didn't mention Canadian horror, right?
Unless I missed something, I posted a review. So unless someone corrects me, I posted a little one-liner, which is like, it was decently produced. I was enjoying everything I was seeing, but there's some obvious omissions. Like, if that was it, they didn't talk Giallo and they didn't talk David fucking Cronenberg. If you're talking the history of fucking horror here, come on.
You're right. Well, I'm starting a fucking thing here. Shudder doesn't like Canadians. Spread the word.
Italians.
Or Italians. Yeah. What the fuck, man? Well, there you go. I want to see an article.
They're showing Canadian films, so let's not go crazy. But that we just don't get them all.
Yeah, but they're gypping you.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Maybe you hold Cronenberg in a higher regard than Americans do.
You okay, buddy?
What are you scratching your nuts over there?
He was looking at his dick. I don't know what he was doing.
Like you're not gonna take another tooth later.
Yeah.
It's like he had a boner and it went down. He was talking about Cronenberg. Maybe they put him in a
Talking about COVID Cronenberg.
COVIDberg. Yes. Don't say that. He might end up with it. Everybody chill out.
Oh yeah, wait. What?
Yeah, don't do that. So anyway, we got 3 movies to talk about. We're not going in order.
Sorry.
Fuck who? Children.
Fuck Shudder. But the room was decent. I liked the room. Actually, it was quite good.
Oh, I gave up on the room. I told you what happened when I watched
I thought
it.
it was very average and a terrible ending.
I pulled the plug. I thought they were ridiculous acting, but that's
I pulled the plug.
I did.
It's always.
I'm the one to get sick of that. I thought it was fine.
The way they were acting was fine. They were acting like fucking 8-year-olds. Oh, we got a free thing. Imagine if it was you and your wife. You just bought a new house, and you go up in this fucking room, and you say, oh, man, I like to drink. And all of a sudden, a fucking bottle of Jim Beam appears. And then, oh, this happens. And then, look, honey, check this out. Let's go in this room. Hey, I want a bag of pita chips. Boom, here they are. Hey, I want a coffee. Boom, here it is. Here, water.
Exactly.
Boom. Honey.
That's exactly what you would do.
You would be happy about it. You wouldn't even question it, and you would just stay up all night long asking for all these ridiculous things, and not at any point say, "Hey, there's got to be a question."
She asked for a bag of pita chips. I couldn't believe it. That's how she lost it. That's how you lost a tooth, probably eating those damn pita chips. It's like biting into a rock.
You guys are. It's a very good movie.
That's fair. That's fair. Watson liked it too. So that's okay. Some people like it. Anyway,
you got that going for you, Christian.
You and Watson. Okay, so Diana Prince, that's her name. She's a porn star. I couldn't believe it. I heard something about it, so I looked it up, and she's a real porn star. I mean, she's getting fucking, she's getting it up the ass. She's getting anal sex. She's getting fucking guys shooting loads on her in her room. It's not just like some fancy porn. You know what I mean? Like those 10-minute clean-looking porns where everybody's oiled. This is fucking. She's a real fucking porn star. I'm like, wow.
She's got zit to her ass.
I'm just surprised that somebody that has that type of, background is on something national. I mean, I could care less.
Did you say she has tits on her ass?
Zits.
Oh. Be like, I want to see this porn if she's got tits on her ass. I'm a TNA man. Preferably in the same area.
All in one.
I want to see that. That's something I would, as much as I don't like deformities, if I could see a pair of tits on her ass,
you would definitely watch that.
I want to see it. It doesn't turn me on. I'm curious though.
Oh my!
Imagine that though. You could be having sex. You could be grabbing her ass and grabbing her tits. Yeah, you could be going back and forth. I gotta stop. See, now we're going over the 3 minutes. Okay, tonight we're going out of order. We're not gonna go the regular order. We've been doing everything like the way it was released, but because every show lately there's been something has been happening where all 3 of us don't agree on our movies, and there's been like some dissension every fucking show lately. So because B has said something, and I think there's a reputation with him in one of these movies, we've decided why not save the one that we all can agree on, at least we think, for last. And we know each other enough, so we've talked about it. So American Werewolf in London will be last. We'll do the other 2 first. We'll go out of order.
Sounds good to me. Any preference on which one of the 2 goes first?
I don't care.
You pick, B.
It's
all you.
It's all for you.
Beautiful.
It's all for you, B.
It's all for you. All right. Well, I guess since we're doing Werewolf last, let's just go and let's reverse the order and go from newest to oldest. So we will start out with 2016's The Autopsy of Jane Doe. And that is directed by Andre Avradel. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's one of those weird O's with a line through it. Something you'd see in like Marco's Nation.
yeah, that is those things are kind of cool.
Yeah. You got to draw a fucking symbol next to every letter. Oh, look, there's a little house. There's a TP over here.
This ends backwards. We always have to throw that one in. Yeah.
Yeah, the backwards N, the upside down R,
yeah.
The lowercase b.
Put in an H.
The Teflon
Sorry, that's another
B.
Simpsons joke.
All right. A father and son, both coroners, are pulled into a complex mystery while attempting to identify the body of a young woman who was apparently harboring dark secrets.
Okay, this one comes from Derek B. This much I know. I don't have to look it up because I think Derek told me that he wants you to watch the movie again because apparently you have issue with the movie. So we might start right out, unless we're wrong and he's gonna not fucking like the next movie either. I don't know.
I went back and forth with this. I started thinking after I blew my load, thinking he was a zombie hater, that it was this movie then. And so we'll find out. But
I won't give it away what I feel about Lords, but this is the movie I take issue with. I am not a big fan of the first time I saw it. And you know what? I gave it the all-important Dave's second view, and I'm still not a fan.
I knew it.
It went up for me. It actually went up even more for me this time.
Me too.
This is creepy as shit, man.
Well, it's a story. It's a movie of two halves for me. That first half is brilliant. Such great character development, setup. This is just a film where I wish it wasn't a supernatural film. I felt like everything that happens in this could have been grounded in reality, and it could have been so much darker and creepier. I felt like they introduced, I mean, obviously we always get into spoilers here. I felt like they introduced the Salem witch reveal a little too late, and then sort of the motives and the understanding of everything got a little convoluted for me. That's my thought.
I will say this: my complaint the first time was that I liked the first 2/3 and I wasn't crazy about the last act. That was only the first time I saw it. This is now the third time I've seen it, and all that's gone away. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Where you're coming from, like I could kind of understand it, but now watching it, to me, everything I really don't have any complaints. I can't really. I don't know. I really enjoy the movie.
The acting, we're talking about. I agree, Dave. I do.
No,
I agree.
I didn't mean to cut you
off.
The acting's great. You got Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch, terrific actors. I love the characters. I felt like there was so much more depth to their story that really wasn't explored. It kind of had like a throwaway conversation at like the 2/3 point. You know, I wouldn't say throwaway, but just sort of like a underdeveloped sort of apology by Tommy's character to Austin. You know, when he's sort of talking about, you know, why I called your mother Ray.
Yeah, in the elevator. Yep.
Yeah, but I don't know. It felt like that should have been more of the focus, and I really feel like Jane Doe's reveal as to what happened could have been grounded more in reality, because you got these guys who are coroners, who are men of science, and they start to get to this point where they can't explain anything anymore, yet they're diving deeper to try to make sense of it. It would have been cool if in the end you could make sense of it.
We did make sense of it. You don't think there's an explanation?
I think there's an explanation. I just think it's so supernatural and kind of ridiculous that I don't like it. And once it becomes supernatural, I don't like the fact that the motives of Jane Doe is sort of all over the place.
Like why she's attacking these people who are seemingly trying to help her?
Yeah, they're trying to.
But they're not helping her. They're cutting her the fuck up. They're hurting her.
Well, that's it. That's easy to understand, because she's obviously rotting as they're cutting her open, so she wants him. But when he does that scene where he begs her for mercy for Austin, and then he takes on her pain and her, you know, everything she feels, that's an awesome scene. But then there was no need for Austin to die in the end. There was no need for that scene of him getting scared and falling break. That was so bad. He should have lived then. That would have made that scene with Brian Cox more impactful, where he's begging Jane Doe, "I'll take it. Give it to me."
Oh, I know where you're going with it, but you still get that plus the ending. So then imagine when you're the cops coming in going, "What the fuck happened here?"
Right, because he survives. If this kid would have survived, then what? And this is what you're saying as you're watching the movie.
He would have been arrested for all these murders.
So yeah, that would have been fine.
You'd rather have an ending where a character that you said you love the character and he went through all this shit, you'd rather have him go away in cuffs at the end of the movie than fucking. I'd rather. Why have a sad ending like that when you could have a kick ending? I think the fact that he ends up dead is a surprise and a welcome surprise for me, because I love those kind of endings. But I'm like, because it's such a heartfelt movie, and you have this and that, and the discussion and its relationship and everything else, and this kid he's a good boyfriend, and he's an even better son. He does everything that he feels. He's a very good person. You see some of the things he goes through. You know, he lost his mother. Everything else. You know what I mean? You really care for the character. To have him go out at the end in cuffs just would have been anticlimactic. It just wouldn't have worked, I don't think. Not that I want to see him dead, but the fact that they went that route, I was like, well, that's cool.
I would have rather seen him live and been arrested than killed, because it didn't make sense for the motive of Jane Doe. It didn't make sense. She wasn't sinister enough where it felt like she was just out to kill everyone.
Why not?
She was in pain.
Why can't she truly be a witch? Why does she have to be a falsely accused witch that's only harming people that are fucking with her? Maybe she was a legit Salem witch, and maybe she's doing this just to fuck with them. And maybe she did that just to fuck with the old man and the kid and make him think, oh, you know what? You figured me out. I'm going to give all my pain to you, and everything's going to be good again. And
that's fine. You could do that, but then I come back to this. The reveal of the Salem witch thing is way too late and way too underdeveloped. If that's the case, there needs to be more investigation, more reveals, and more. Yes, absolutely.
You
can't have an hour and 24-minute movie and introduce the witch part at 55 minutes and then go deep. They're revealing these logos, they're deciphering the years, and it's too underdeveloped. They felt like two completely
I don't
different films.
see that. That's weird, because I didn't feel that either time. And I find, again, I like that isolated feeling. We're in this house. So you've got one location for the most part, obviously, other than the opening and whatever. One location, two great actors, and ultimately they give you just enough of a backstory, knowing that the son is thinking of leaving to go with his girlfriend, and leaving the dad with the business and everything else, but he doesn't have the heart to tell him yet and reveal it. And then they're about to go for the night. Go with his girlfriend. He doesn't want to leave his dad high and dry. So you get what Dave was saying, where he's a good son. He wants to stay, help his dad finish off. And then they get into all this shit. And then just when you're thinking, why are they sticking, just when you're about to say, okay, in another movie, they would have stuck around and said, let's stick it out and figure out what's going on here. The dad says, let's get the fuck out of here. And let's hightail it out of here. Right when shit's really starting to hit the fan, some weird stuff's happened, but they can't really, they're trying to make sense of it. And then when it gets too fucked up, when the lights start falling, whatever, he's like, let's get out of here. And I'm like, right on. Because usually a movie would be like, oh, this is weird. That could be explained for this reason. Let's still figure out what's happening. And they're like, let's get out. And I think that's where sort of the turning point, and it starts getting into a faster paced movie. Yeah. And there's not enough, there wouldn't be a time or a reason to deep dive Brandon at that point, because I think it's boom, 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 boom until the end at that point.
You know what? I understand what you're saying, but everything they're doing with the investigation, and also some of the sound design with the rib cutters and stuff, the crunching of the sound is awesome. But everything they're doing where they're discovering, because they're looking for an answer, and he's like, oh, we've only just begun. We still haven't even cut into her. And they discovered the Jimson weed and all that. I would have loved for this to turn into something where maybe they were exposed to something that was toxic to them, and that's what caused them to go crazy. Like, I'm thinking of all these ideas I would have personally liked better that would have explained the hallucinations of them seeing the corpses and hearing the ringing of the bells, explain him not obviously hearing the girlfriend.
Want that plot twist?
I would have preferred that. Yes, I would have preferred.
Wow.
I wanted this grounded in reality.
Really?
I just didn't like the sudden shift into full-blown supernatural. Because
why is it sudden? You knew the whole time something was up. Everything that they were coming across is pointing to fucking, this isn't normal. This isn't normal.
This isn't normal. This isn't normal, but I've seen this before. She's bleeding when they cut her, the clouding of the eyes, the human trafficking. There's still the Jimson weed. There's still slight understanding. Even the opening scene, you're like, what the hell happened at this crime scene when they're investigating? You're like, all right, none of it makes sense, but it almost feels like a Sherlock Holmes. Like, you're gonna get rid of, all the like impossible scenarios, and it's gonna be like just this sort of basic, like, oh my god, reveal.
Yeah, and but the thing is, I think we as the viewer are getting that throughout. I think what's the father's name?
Tommy.
Okay. Tommy's going through it, and he's very experienced. He's been doing affairs and everything else. And what's the son's name? Austin. Thank you.
You're like me, Dave. You're like me.
I know. Sometimes I remember.
Dad and son.
Yeah, dad and son. All right. So Austin's like, he's surprised at some of the stuff he's been seeing. How many years has he been doing it? Not many, not even close to his father. But it's almost like the father is just as surprised as the son, and he's he's coming up with 1 out of fucking 2 million opportunities that he's had in life with things. Or he's like, oh, well, I saw this once before, or this happened. It's almost like he's talking himself into saying it's remotely possible. Problem is, it's not just one thing that's remotely possible. It's like 4 or 5 things that he's seen, and they all keep happening to this person in this situation, to this very body. So it's almost like he's trying to talk himself off the ledge. That's the way I took it. He's like, well, all this shit's fucked up. He goes, well, it's almost like he doesn't want to believe in the supernatural, of course, because who does? And he's just like, okay, I've seen this before. It's possible. That's the way I took it. Like, he knew off the bat shit's fucked up. And number one, he doesn't want to scare his son either. And he doesn't want to scare himself. So he's kind of like, what's the word? He's kind of like making
he's being a dad. I guess that's it. He's being protective, and I agree. A man of science being protective. Like, there's got to be a rational explanation for this. Until things really shit hits the fan, lights come down, and then that's why the him saying "let's get the fuck out of here" is great from him saying it, because now you've got this guy that has been trying to explain everything or find some rational explanation for everything is a better way to now say, no, this is fucked up. Let's get out. I think at that point he believes it's supernatural. I'm all in, like, and it's the mood to create and the feeling of dread throughout. And I was watching this going, wow, this is really getting under my skin. And I said, my whole family, I said, you got to watch this with me. We got to watch this together.
So it blew your socks off and even knocked your tooth out.
Hey, nice. And I watched this with them. I watched it with my wife and my daughter because it's not easy for me. Out of the 3 movies, we just happened to watch American Werewolf a few months ago, so I wasn't going to say we all got to, let's all watch it again. I picked this one specifically. I said, you know what? There's some witchy stuff going on here. I think you guys might like it. You know what I mean? So we watched it, and they liked the only time they were kind of cringing at what B was saying with the sounds with the ribs and a couple of the autopsy scenes. Like the way the movie begins, you see all that shit. I go, guys, I know what you're thinking. It's not this kind of movie. It's not just going to be a fucking gore fest of an autopsy. Believe me, it's going to go somewhere else. And they ended up enjoying it as well. But I don't know. You see what I'm saying, though, B? Can you accept that?
I accept it. I can't argue against the reasons why you guys like the film.
But I'm saying with the character development, like him, making excuses. It's not like a normal autopsy. Well, I've seen this before. You know what I mean? I think it's more he's scared. To me, it already is supernatural from jump. That's what I'm trying to say. The way you're talking about it, your interpretation is that to you, it doesn't truly become supernatural, I guess, until the 3rd act or something.
I would have liked...
Introduces it then? Yeah.
I would have preferred if it turned out not to be supernatural. If there was an explanation for everything, a preservation. But for my hopes for this film, we would have needed additional characters, or the killing would have had to come back to Tommy. And that wasn't his character from the onset. It would have had to have been him being the reveal of the killer, or something like that. It would have had to have been something crazy because he's, all of a sudden identifying, the peat grows up north and this is from this region and this is that, and understanding everything simply because he's the one who's been, killing women and burying them. It would have to be a completely different film. I just felt it jarred from when it went full supernatural from the minute they set her on fire, even though that's a really awesome scene, the way it engulfs the room. Yeah. But I just felt like after that, I just kind of was like, all right, this isn't as good as the first half. And then, I don't know, I really wish, I get what you're saying where, then they would have arrested him, but I really wish the ghost of Tommy didn't freak out Austin and kill him at the end. I just felt like that was just kind of like cheesy at the end. I like the girlfriend getting killed. I would have loved for that to have been explained as some sort of like hysteria going on. Yeah. And I love her, by the way. She's such a good actress, and she's gorgeous.
There was some sort of hysteria going on.
No, I'm talking like I
know where you're going.
In reality, like a genuine hysteria. That wasn't really hysteria. That was them being haunted.
Yeah, she was fucking with them, and that's all we need. She invented that voice, which it was done so well when they're there. What the hell were they saying? Open up, and he's saying open up, and all that. Oh
yeah, and then he starts singing the song that keeps playing on the radio.
Oh yeah, that's creepy. And then how that plays at the end as well. Oh,
I want to talk about that song. Do you guys remember? This is what's happened with me in this fucking song. Now, the first time I saw this movie, I thought that song was forced. There was another movie that came out shortly before that. I go, oh, they're trying to do one of these. At this point, I don't feel that way anymore. It's not a complaint. But do you guys remember when the Flintstones sang that song? Preferably, it was Pebbles and Bam Bam. That's what that fucking song is.
I do remember that. I knew it came from somewhere, and I used to be a big Flintstones watcher when I was a kid. So.
I took the vitamins.
No. Listen, man, this is a great thing. Now, do you guys, I always remembered this song, but it was like, obviously it's been years since I've seen it. There was that other song, Aquarius, this is the dawning of the, okay. So I started listening to Aquarius. At this certain point in my life, I started taking in everything that was fucking that type of music, everything from the late 60s, any hippie type shit. You know what I mean? And this was like in my early 20s and shit. So I remember listening to that song Aquarius, and at the end they go into the spiel, let the sun shine. You know what I'm talking about? Let the sun shine in. So I remember hearing that song at that age saying, I think that fucking Pebbles and Bam Bam sang this song. Now, I was only partially right. The lyrics were familiar, but it wasn't that. And back then there was no Google or YouTube or anything for me to look it up, so I'm just going by memory. I'm just like, why does this remind me of Pebbles and Bam Bam? But it does. So now years later, I'm watching this movie, and this song comes on, open up your heart and let the sun shine. So I'm watching this movie, and I say to my wife, I go, do you remember when Pebbles and Bam Bam sang this song? And she's like, no. I'm like, well, listen, I'm telling you, I was getting it confused with the Aquarius song, but this was the fucking song that Pebbles, because I clearly remember them playing it in my mind. I remember like Bam Bam has drums.
Is this when they formed the band?
The funny part is no, it's when they were babies. So they were babies and they were actually singing this song, and the fucked up part is the lyrics are all the same. They talk about, the only thing they change is little girl to little kids. They talk about the fucking devil and how I hate him. And this is the fucking Flintstones. How fucked up is that?
Brandon doesn't seem to think it's that fucked up.
I guess not.
I'm just amazed at how you remember these things.
Well, how could you forget that? Pebbles and Bam Bam singing a song?
How could I forget a cartoon from 30 years ago? I can't remember what I did yesterday.
I'm going to show you. So here's what I thought. This is what I thought. This is what I'm watching.
You got low, Dave. Did he get low?
Yeah.
Oh,
talk to me.
Oh, no.
Low.
No, you're low again.
All I did was change the fucking.
There, now you're
there
back.
You
oh, okay. I just changed the background so you can see me. So now I'm watching the movie and I say, I'm telling you, I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna put it in the computer. Pebbles and Bam Bam. Open up the sun and whatever the hell. Open up your heart, let the sun shine in. And sure enough, the picture comes up. I go, see, I told you. So then I go down the rabbit hole, and they have the video. So you got to see this shit. It's ridiculous because it's mostly the lyrics. It's Pebbles and Bam Bam. I thought I should have had this all pulled up. I'm sorry. I thought I did, but I don't. Pebbles and Bam Bam. Open up your heart. And here's the funny part. The show could, at the end of the show, for a few years, they played this during the credits. They showed this little video. But look at this shit. Can you see it? Wait till you see him playing. Okay. How fucked up that they sang that song in a cartoon, Pebbles and Bam Bam.
That's not where it originated though. It from before then.
It did originate. The song was written like that thing was from 1965. Here it is. Open up your heart and let the sun shine in. It was a 1960. Oh no, that's the Aquarius song. So it's okay. It was published in 1954. Cowboy Church Sunday School sang it.
Yeah.
And
sounds like God into God into me.
Yes, it is what it is.
Sunshine.
Yep.
It's God. It's light. Brandon was singing it all every day.
So it was 1954. There is the most famous recording of this song was created for Baby Boomers and featured Pebbles and Bam Bam on the Flintstones, No Biz Like Showbiz, which aired September 17, 1965. So, yeah, it's fucked up. Although they went on to form a rock band in the 70s, they never approached the classic heights of this early childhood tune. It's crazy, though. But as soon as I saw that, I'm like, that's fucking Pebbles and Bam Bam, which I figured they changed the lyrics. But they didn't. You heard them. They're singing about the devil and hating him. I'm like, how the fuck did someone think to put that in a Flintstones cartoon? I don't know.
I guess it was no different than it just being like a Sunday, Sunday church song. Excuse me.
Yeah, but in the Flintstones, Pebbles and Bam Bam, what the fuck? It's out of place, don't you think?
You gotta drive with his fucking feet. Does anything surprise you in that show?
Well, anyway, hopefully...
lost Brandon. I love that. That's what I love about this.
He doesn't care about Pebbles and Bam Bam, I guess. That's okay. I know some people out there are like, hey, that's, that's kind of cool news, I think. But, yeah, we lost Brandon. Sorry, B.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm just reading some of my notes. Who the hell is Ward Lamont? I wrote that down because somebody is Ward Lamont. His name is mentioned.
Made the configuration.
Yeah, no, it's at the end. It's at the end. That's why I wrote it down. Ward Lamont.
Maybe he's somebody that got killed?
I don't know.
Ward Lamont?
I don't know.
End?
I think the sheriff said it when they came in. They were talking, I got to get to Ward Lamont or something. When the other police officer, the woman, she's like, there's no signs of forced entry.
Right.
That was cool. And that made me think at the beginning that, obviously the person involved with the crime was inside the house. They knew that person. So what happened to you, Dave? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm changing my background back.
Oh, okay. But, in the end, we see where it goes, but I don't know. The whole idea of, the shroud in her stomach and the symbol drawn on the inside of the skin, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it.
It blows me away. That's the one image from this film that I always think about when I think about this movie is when they open her. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you, man.
And I don't get it. But what does it all mean? Did somebody perform that? Why is it?
It's the same stuff. It's the same stuff that's on the shroud. Remember, they get the shroud out and it's the tooth is in it and they fold it over and it says when it happens.
It's like, how does it actually get onto the inside of her flesh? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear you.
Who performed this ritual? Why is she mad that someone's trying to help her? I get that it's rotting her, but it's like she's screwed either way.
They're trying to help her. No. See.
No, they're trying to help. They don't realize they're hurting her, but they're trying to help her by solve her murder. But they don't realize that by cutting her open, it's hurting her. She's feeling the pain because technically she's undead or not or never dead at all. She's sort of in this sort of stasis.
Well, yeah, they're just doing their job. You act as if they're fucking a couple good citizens saying there's a dead person. We've got to figure out.
Well, no, at the end, they are totally trying to help her. They go back into the room to finish this to help her. After they're in the... Yeah, I mean, that's totally 100% their motive by then. But...
This was something to combat what was going on. Remember these crazy zealots that are fucking putting all these people to death? Well, then maybe they weren't so crazy because this is a real witch probably. They're going through all kinds of motions. They're cutting somebody open. They're fucking drying them out. They're doing this. And they probably believe that this is just a vessel and they can't really destroy it. So what they're going to do is they're able to cut her completely open. You know what I mean? Unfold her body, clean it off, and then put all this fucking imagery in it to keep her, like I said, at bay. So because they can't destroy her. So they're probably trying to find out one more way to do it, and that's why they do it. And I just love the imagery so much that I don't overanalyze it, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, because if that's supposed to contain it, then how the hell is she killing everyone? And how the hell is she keep ending up in these different locations?
No, I don't think it is different locations. I think that she was put in that peat moss in that thing underneath that house, and the people at that first house were doing some renovations or something or other. Nice. And they opened it up, and when they opened it up, they see her, and then that led to the destruction of them. And now
Yeah,
it's
that could be because they talk about the worker Alvarez, the third
Yes.
guy who got killed, that he was there. In fact, they blame him for the murder. It's so racist. Like, oh, it's the Mexican.
Right.
JP.
But that's
did
how
it.
I took it. I had to go to the end to because my wife and I and daughter, we were talking about this. How did this happen? Why? And the beginning. And there was a point in the movie where we were wondering if, because my wife hadn't seen it, of course, so she's speculating. She's like, I think that her lungs are charred from the inside because of the first person that we saw was a burned body. Maybe somehow they were trying to save her and they put those lungs from him into her. And then it got me thinking. I'm like, wait a minute, are those other corpses in their morgue right now? What happened to those people that they found in the house? And I go, well, one of them had a smashed face. They said, one of them tried to blow their head off, and they showed those things, right? But I go, I don't remember there being a fire, so that I don't think that makes sense. So we had to go back to the beginning and see if there was a fire.
There was one guy who was burned.
No, there wasn't. We
was.
specific. No, you're missing my point. In the fucking morgue, yes, and that's what her idea was. But she was saying, did these people come from the house in the beginning?
Oh, no.
These are the dead people. Maybe they were trying to do something, and there's a connection. Like she killed them, so something about her lung. Yeah, I know that now, but at the time I was like, isn't it odd that, what happened to those bodies? How come those bodies didn't show up on their slabs? I mean, I don't know how it works. Maybe
that was another weird thing. Like they were never taken to the morgue, yet they rushed her because he needed a COD right away for her, because
I think that's what it is.
It didn't make sense because she looked perfectly preserved. But Christian, you weren't mad with the little Flanaganism with the woman with the sewn mouth opening up her mouth really wide? Every time
you're right, but he didn't direct it.
Okay. I did like it. I like it. It doesn't bother me. That was this creepy scene. B, let me go back to something you said about the investigation and them trying to figure it out. They don't give a fuck. Their job is to just determine cause of death. They're not going to go start looking at all kinds of witchcraft stuff and everything else. And you know what I mean? You said you wanted more background on how and why and what the ceremony is and all the stuff with witches earlier in the film. They wouldn't have been concerned with that.
No, I know that.
Right, 100%. So who else could?
But
you know what I mean?
But for what it turned into, there needed to be more investigation. It didn't necessarily need to be them. It just needed to be a bigger movie. For this self-contained movie, this grand Salem witch thing just doesn't work for me. It just feels rushed and incomplete.
That's interesting. See, to me, it's perfect. Anything else would have been unnecessary from where I sit. Just same thing with the conversation later on when they're talking about the mother. And we don't know what happens. All I can guess is that she got sick and she kept it inside and didn't tell him she was sick, because he said she's walking around in all that pain and nobody knew it. I got enough in that scene. I love when I see that in movies. When I'm put into a real people's life. Let's say it was a movie based on us or whatever, us and our family, and the way we're going to discuss things, that we don't have to spell out every fucking thing for the viewer to get it. We get enough of it in that conversation. I love when it's like that and I don't get all the details, because I'm like, you know what? You don't have to bother me with the details. This is real life. People get sick. This happens. Obviously, the guy has some guilt, but that's all I need to know. I don't need to know. I love movies like that. I don't want the explanation.
And again, I guess it just depends on the movie, because I say this is what I find when we're discussing things will be what ends up making us like or dislike a film. And obviously, although Brandon has even used the words that was an amazing scene in the movie, he overall didn't like the film. Whereas if there's enough amazingness in it, I guess we usually, you'll lean further. But the fact that you even will acknowledge that there was amazing scenes in it is good. I always say that sometimes I don't need to be spoon-fed, or I don't want too much story all the time. There's just got to be enough there to keep things going. And I think this is a perfect example of where mood, good acting, good location, good filming technique, and enough of a good story that it just is perfect for me.
I think people are huge fans of this film because it starts off very, very, very tame. There's sort of an explanation for everything with everything they discover as they're going along through the autopsy process, which is really cool. And then all of a sudden it turns into nothing you've seen is real. It's batshit. It's a fucking witch. And here's supernatural, haunting, murder, chaos, mayhem, and people love that. Whereas I was so into the explanation of them finding this. Oh, this makes sense. Maybe it had to do with human trafficking, and they're discovering all these things that are grounded in reality. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. This could turn into just like a dark, sinister serial killer film. Maybe he's the killer. I mean, I've obviously seen this before, so I know that's not the case.
But still, I hear you.
But yeah, so like I'm like, okay, this is going to be so much more terrifying to me if it's got a logical explanation behind it. I'm not saying what they did with it is bad. I just feel like what they did with it is underdeveloped because they went for such a grand idea. I mean, they did well with it for this smaller film, but you know, if you're gonna do that, I need like I guess like a another 20 minutes, more characters outside characters, researching, sort of like Francis Matthias in Lords of Salem. Perfect example. Like that. Like a little bit of investigation going on to explain some stuff.
Yeah, he was Mr. Pull along the plot, Mr. Information Dump. I get that, but I also see. Listen, I also see this. I think it's supernatural from the beginning because when they see that she has broken wrists and broken ankles and all this shit, and then they find out the lungs, right away this could never happen. And they keep saying, they go, how come her body on the outside isn't showing any damage? How could you have a broken this and a broken that? And how could all this be going on? And right off the bat, to me, it speaks supernatural. I think if you take a novice fucking viewer of horror or anything and you show them this, and right away they see that one scene with the broken bone in the ankle when they're moving it around, and you don't see any cuts. Her flesh is perfect on the outside. You see nothing. To me, right off the bat, this is like, well, this isn't normal. How is this even possible? And then the vaginal stuff when they go in there and it's all cut up and they see nothing. So I think to me there's zero guesswork that this is supernatural right from jump. That's what makes sense to me. You don't see it that way, really?
I mean, I get how you see it that way, yeah. But for me, I was like, I'm hoping there's an explanation because they're coming up with all these explanations for every little thing except for that. So I see how that's leading to the supernatural, but at the same time, couldn't you just eventually discover one more reason why it makes sense, why it's grounded in science instead of, religious fanaticism?
This Yeah, I guess it just comes down to...
I don't hate this film. I've never hated this film. I just... I had the same feeling about this movie as I did The Void. And then the second time I watched The Void, it blew me away. I guess I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. This time, with this one, though, it just stayed the same. I see so much more potential in this film for what I want. I mean, I don't know if it's weird. It's weird to critique a film that way, but that happens to me a lot where I see an idea that I would have liked better. Not that what they did is not that what they did is bad. Just, man, I really wish it had turned out this way. Same thing with Better Watch Out. As much as I talk about, I hate that film, I don't really hate it in terms of my rating. I just see a much better film in there, and I just didn't like the way it progressed. Same thing with Tragedy Girls. Same thing with certain films. They all wind up falling into like the same area at the end of the day, though.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I was saying earlier. I think that's what differentiates and why are the opinions of where you end up falling from your like or dislike of a film.
Yeah,
and that's okay. But it sounds like you really enjoyed certain aspects. Like it wasn't like a disdain or dislike of the movie throughout. It was almost like
no,
you liked everything until sort of like the end.
And you know what? It's not even like I don't even think it's like flawed from a story standpoint. Yeah, I say it feels incomplete and rushed, but it is what it is. But from a technical standpoint, I like you talked about, I love the look of the morgue. I love the fact they talk about expanding it. I love the look of the hallways. When it starts to get haunted, that stuff is really cool. Hearing the tow bell thing, hearing the story about that. I actually knew that because that's where the expression "Saved by the Bell" came from, when they used to bury people with bells on because they couldn't tell if they were dead. That's where that expression comes from, "Saved by the Bell."
Wow.
Just like Screech's career.
Yeah. But
wow.
But you know, it's just like at the end of the day, I'm like, you know, just a little underwhelmed every time the credits roll.
Interesting. Yeah, I keep coming up on it. I keep liking it more and more.
Every time.
Yeah, I do. 3 times I've watched it. Each time I've come up.
The cast is great, though. The cast is terrific.
The cast is great. Oh, I gotta tell you one thing though. How about that cat scene? Holy fuck, that
poor Stanley.
Dude, we're watching this movie. Of course, everybody in my house has become cat people, but you know, before that we never were. You know, but now we are. So we're watching the movie, and they find the cat, and this is what's fucked up. We're watching it, and we see him come out, and as soon as we see the cat's reaction, all 3 of us are like, "Oh, this." And then my wife. And then the way he's holding it, and I forget how it ends because my memory is shit, you know. So I'm watching it, and then literally my wife says, "Hold on, I have it written down because it fucking." Hold on. Oh, what the hell did she say? Oh, she goes, well, he's not gonna twist his neck. And then he fucking twists his neck, and we all, oh. I go, why didn't you think he was going to twist his neck? The fact that she even thought about that, and she goes, well, I figured he was going to inject something in him because he's of his job or something like that. You know what I mean? And then even when they threw him in the incinerator, they were crying about, not crying.
She's right.
Like, oh.
Dude, she's actually right. I thought the same thing.
Wrong.
I thought to himself, he's got to have some drugs he can inject the cat. The cat will go right to sleep and die peacefully.
I don't know necessarily that.
But I didn't think he wasn't going to twist the neck. I thought once he starts putting his hand up here, I'm like, he's just twisting the neck.
Yeah, she said it, and then it happened. And the noise, again, with the fucking sound design, with anything with bones.
Yeah, a lot of crunching in this. In the original script, somebody punched Stanley's tooth out.
You knew it was coming.
Because Lloyd Christmas shows up, and he starts making fun of Lloyd's hair.
Stanley Tucci.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Stanley Toothy.
Toothy. Nice.
Wait, what am I not getting here?
I don't know. You said something, and then I thought Stanley Tucci because of the way you said it. So then Dave said Stanley Tucci. I'm like, how the hell was he on the exact same thing? So you said something that got us thinking.
Because he said Stanley's tooth.
Oh, Stanley's.
So when he said Stanley's tooth, I thought Stanley Tucci, you know?
No, I was thinking, I was like, Lloyd Christmas? Like, what the hell? Stanley Tucci? Like,
I don't know. What Lloyd Christmas beats Stanley Tucci. Yes. Here's something I like also in this movie when they're with the stuff with the radio and how it's like prophetic to what's going on. Yeah. She's giving them warnings. And of course, at the end of it all, the reveal at the end about how it's their 4th sunny day in a row is fucking brilliant because then you see the power she has. But all this stuff with the radio, they were saying things like, you don't want to go forward, you don't want to continue on in this, you don't want to. Then it says this one's going to be a bigger deal than we're led to believe. And every time they do it, it's at the perfect point in their autopsy, almost as if she's warning them. She's saying, stop what you're doing now, and then this is going to be a bigger deal than you think, and that's when the door opens. It's like, well fucking played. See, I didn't notice that the first 2 times.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere at one point. Yeah.
You don't plan on going anywhere. Yeah. And he tried to get out of it. The kid, Austin's trying to stop it, and he wants to continue on. Once we start something, we finish it. And maybe if they would have stopped, who knows what would have happened. But
all the more reason why I was like, I hope this turns out the first time anyway. I hope this turns out that it's paranoia or they're exposed to something and it's still grounded in reality.
How about the bone? Remember the bone cuts him and everything that happens there? At that point, you had to know fucking it's supernatural. As soon as he gets cut by that bone and his reaction, how it just progresses, and then you start seeing the stuff on his stomach, and he just progressively gets worse from that cut. At that point, you have to know it's supernatural.
Well, the body thing, he was attacked. It was from him being attacked in the shower.
Huh?
The body thing was him being attacked by the entity in the shower, who had her eyes. He's like, it had her eyes.
I know that, but I'm saying that was a result of him getting scratched from her bone. As soon as that happened, it progressively got worse. It was like body horror.
Oh, I didn't think so. I thought he just had a really bad cut, and then he got attacked when he went to clean it. And that's when things got worse.
Oh, no. As soon as he got the cut, it was because the cut came from her bone. That would never happen. It was bleeding way too much. I'm sure that's never happened to him. It just so happened to be her bone.
It was bleeding from his hand. I imagine you can cut yourself on someone's bone.
You think they just did that for no reason? I don't know.
I think they did that to get him into the bathroom to clean up this nasty wound and for him to be attacked. Yeah. That's the way I saw it.
Interesting.
And I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention, so I can't side on either one. But I was looking to see if who played Jane Doe, because she did phenomenal too. Because I was looking for any type of movement or whatever. Not looking, but you just kind of suspect them like they must have done something.
You were licking the screen. That's what you were doing.
Oh, she was beautiful too.
Gorgeous.
Oh my God.
He was licking her titties with his toothless mouth.
Oh. I had a tooth when I watched this.
But what
I was all man at that point.
But just think about the making of this movie. This poor girl is on this slab in front of these people and a room full of people the entire time. That's not easy to do. You know what I mean?
If I looked like her, I would do it for every movie. I'd be like, make 40 autopsy movies. I'll be Jane Doe.
She'll be in the Life Force remake.
Yeah. Yeah, they should do it, and she should be in it. You're right. Wow.
That was a horror fan joke, not for you two fucking slubs.
I love Life Force.
Okay.
I was about to agree with you. That would be a perfect casting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Stunning.
I love you two guys.
I've never even seen Life Force, but I'm willing to. I know what it's about. You know.
Got the most gorgeous naked woman in the world.
So I've heard. Every time I think of Life Force, I think of that movie Cocoon. I don't know why. For some reason, I always picture that scene which I always hate in that movie, when the old men are they crack the fucking cocoon open when they're in the pool and it opens up and that thing comes out and the way it looks. For some reason, maybe I saw a trailer when I was a kid and something from that reminded me of something they show in Life Force. I don't know, but I always but I always associate Life Force with Cocoon.
Next time you watch Life Force, you can be like, where the hell's Brian Dennehy? Where the hell is what's his name from Police Academy?
I don't know. I just think about Wilford Brimley being. Oh, Steve Guttenberg.
The Goot. Where's the Goot? He's not in Life Force.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Christian's like, wrap this up.
I was like that 10 minutes ago.
Okay. The smoke scene is fucking awesome when they're going through the smoke. All that shit and everything that's coming out at them, that's like zombie craziness. That stuff is great. Everything with the Emma scene is mint. Everything with when they're trapped in the elevator and how scary it is, how it's executed, and of course the payoff. Probably the best scene in the whole. Just that whole thing was great. So we do have to wrap this interview up. You're right. Man.
Interview with Jane Doe. So Jane. Just for Brandon's facial reaction right now, it was all worth it.
It looks like you have her body hanging in your basement. That's what...
Maybe he does. He wishes he does. So my brother had a dream once, and in this dream, it was when we were living at my mother's house. He went into the basement, and I had two girls. I was keeping these two girls chained up, and one was up here, chained up to the top, and they were naked. And he went down the stairs, and he saw these two girls chained up, naked. And then one of them turned around and looked at him and said, "Hey, how'd you like to fuck me up the ass?" I just always thought that was a funny dream that he had. And
then he woke up. Don't you hate that when you wake up? You're like, I didn't even have a chance to answer.
Oh, shit. Anyway, I'll just come out. For me, it's a full head explosion.
I'm right there with you. Full head explosion. It was the first time, and it's the second time.
I'm not there with you. It's a mild rumble for me.
Mild rumble.
Ooh, down to what the fuck? Well, Derek, you tried, and it was unsuccessful. You tried to flip B on the positives, but it didn't work. But thank you anyway. We had a great time with it.
Yeah, so, I did.
It's hard to change B's mind. It really is. It's hard to change anything.
What are you talking about? They changed my mind on The Void.
Oh, true.
Just last week or 4 weeks ago, whenever the hell we did it. I'm so
just last show.
Yeah. Was it last show? Okay, we've been recording so much I can't remember what we're doing anymore. Why don't you focus less on the images and focus more on being a good podcaster?
Well, while we're
Overrated.
doing nothing, I'm going to give a shout out since we're not reviewing yet because she's got to figure out his background, which is
No, I'm good.
respectable. Okay,
Who are
we'll
you
do
gonna
the
give a
shout out.
shout out?
Well, we got to talk about Heather and Scott, Friday Nightmares. because-
HP
Yeah, man.
and
Uh,
SC.
Absolutely. Gotta love them. They just said a whole bunch of great stuff on their last episode. Or maybe not by the time this comes out. Not that, but either it doesn't matter. One of their episodes, they said really good stuff about the Patreons and what we do and sign up and, just. And on top of that, I want to put the show over anyway, just because I think it's one of the better shows out there now, and it's new. And
I want to put it over my knee.
not
Give it a nice spanking.
only is it one of my favorite shows now, Heather and Scott are some of my new favorite people in the.
Absolutely. Agree.
Yes.
100%. And Heather and I, except we share a common enemy, and his name is Cyrus Remus.
Who's that?
I don't know. Never heard of him.
You know him.
Okay.
Cyrus. Wait a second.
Cyrus?
Cyrus Remus.
I'll look him up, but not right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys
You'll
again.
figure it out one day.
All right, one day.
Anyway, no, Heather and Scott are both awesome, and that's what I think even makes their show great too, because they are great. Their enthusiasm for horror is great, and Heather's gonna stop. She's on every show now, though. She's like the female Venom.
She's hopping around. She's having fun. Yeah. She's hopping around. She's on. Oh, this kid's whacking his head. She's on quarantine. So
Would you stop touching your damn mic?
I know.
This fucking mic. Only thing is, my damn mic shows up even when I got this thing on. But what are you gonna do?
I'll put your heads right back in here. Swinging on a, what is it? Swinging on a bench? See.
Swinging on. I don't know. Well, we
He's
can.
not even paying attention.
I'm not.
He's
Sorry.
not. I wanted him to do it.
We only had a short. We may as well just bullshit now. We only have a.
Yeah, we got to take a little break soon, so let's bullshit.
Let's bullshit for a few. I'd have the drawing, but
Can't do the drawing?
I could try. I kind of did it like half-assed. So, but I mean, I'm gonna put in a number between 1 and 177 to get the winner, and we're gonna give away some stuff. I got some shit here. We're not giving away one fucking movie or no bullshit like that. We're giving away at least a movie, maybe two, something else, some things. No, it's gonna be a package worth. You know what I mean? There's gonna be a couple different things
Is
there.
it your
So-
Is it Junior? Is it that package? It's the Junior package.
Not exactly. I do have to download the randomizer. See, I did all this last minute, of course. I know. We need a randomizer though, and I don't keep things in my computer, in my phone because it drains the battery. So I don't have a lot of things opened. So, but what I did was this: somebody was higher up. Let's say the top level is a 6 because there's 6 different levels. So somebody, if you're number 6, you get 6 votes. If you're the second best level, you get 5, all the way down to number 1. So that's how it's decided. Anyway, it's going to be between 1 and 177. Then that's going to be the hard part to figure out whose number is who. But I do have everything in order, so who they are from the top to the bottom. But I'm going to put in 1 and 177, and let's see what comes up, and they're going to win something. Generate. Let's see. What's it say?
I hit my mic again.
This fucking guy, he's knocked down 4 teeth already on his mic.
It says,
Oh.
it's 168. Actually, that's going to make it easier because
That is gonna make it easier.
I can count from the back. So let's see.
Hey, if I don't get the tricks, you think I still could be in the movie?
Yes. We can't do without you, buddy. So there's nothing we can do. You have to be in the movie. Okay, so 168. So 177 minus 168 is 9. Correct? So we're going to go back. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ryan Schwartz, you are the winner.
Hey, the Schwartz be with you.
Yes. So there you are.
What does he win? What does he win?
Well, I gotta have to look at all the stuff I have, but I know I got some Blu-ray, I got a DVD, I got some other promotional things, some other stuff.
Fuck.
But hopefully, when he gets in, he'll post a picture, or I can post a picture before I send it to, so people know. But I got stuff here, man. I got stuff in that room. I got stuff over there in that closet. So I'm just we'll probably me alone. I'll be able to have like 3 giveaways total. with stuff I have here. So,
He
and there
won-
are going to be
He's
some
won my
Blu-ray.
tooth.
Huh?
He's won my tooth.
How about that? We forgot to mention that. Autopsy of Jane Doe, she lost one tooth and it was inside that freaking shroud thing, and you lost a tooth. Wow.
That's fucked up.
That is fucked up. These coincidences keep
I love
happening.
witches. I love witches.
Oh, I love witches too.
Except for the
My
craft. I love witches.
God. Yep. Witches are
Were
the
you
best.
doing a draw there, broccoli sprout?
What happened? I knocked my mic over.
That's what you get. He was making fun of this guy for bumping into his mic, and now he does it. See? Instant karma's gonna get you.
It is
Sorry.
gonna get this guy.
Yeah, no, I had a million things going on. I was getting a phone call. I was talking to my dad, and then I knocked my mic over, and I'm like, fuck. And you know me, my OCD. Now I gotta get it just right.
This fucking guy.
Well, this is a great bonus. It's gonna be like a 10-minute video for everybody. Well, not a bonus, but it's a thing. This is gonna be like a 1, 2, maybe like a 4 video show.
The question is Lords of Salem gonna be better than Autopsy of Jane Doe?
That's the question. That's the question.
And so wait, you're not doing a drawing, Brandon? Why did I think he said he was doing one?
Who's doing a drawing? Me? I
He
said I was
said
gonna
do
do.
it
I
too.
said I was gonna do a drawing of you, toothless, and send it to someone.
Oh, I thought he said that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a toothless picture of you. Mail it out to wait, stay right there.
See, I thought the same thing. I thought Brandon said, I'm going to do a drawing too. That's what I thought he said. I'm like, oh, really? What's that?
Yeah, my jokes are not landing this week. I thought I made that joke earlier.
You did actually make the joke earlier. I remembered.
I remembered how awful it was.
Oh, shit. Here we are. Lords of Salem, folks. Yes, indeed.
We are back. Oh, we are back.
We are back. We are back. Yep.
All
I had
right.
the basement too. I got kicked out of my other area.
I'll tell you what, this call is going better already. The quality of the call is already better. So
I'm hardwired.
that's the idea. Hardwired to self-destruct.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was waiting for it.
Every time. Again, it's the only time I ever heard that word besides you was in that song. Hardwired to self-destruct. Nice. Okay.
You see what I got there too.
Oh, yeah. Boom. Knocked his tooth out. With the left. Looking good. Looking good. Who looks better? You or
The
Sherry?
space for rent.
Who's for rent? You all right, B?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, I suppose
My face is thawing.
your face is what?
Thawing.
Cold out, man. It was hailing and snowing here. It's fucking May.
I
I was
know.
outside for a half hour.
Well, I'll tell you what. Quit fucking complaining. People are complaining, not you guys. I'm just saying. People are complaining online, like friends of mine and shit on Facebook and all that shit. Buffalo people. Oh, it's raining. It's snowing. May. It's cold. This year's bad enough. And now this. I'm saying, hey, asshole, you're in fucking quarantine. You shouldn't be going outside and doing. If you want any year to fucking be miserable during spring and summer, this should be the year you want it to, since you're not going out doing your normal shit anyway. You know what I mean?
True.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's good timing. Next year, hopefully, if all this is gone, then let's hope May's beautiful, and then people can go out and do things. So
If it's not gone by next year, we'll be on episode like 400 by then.
And people are assholes. The second it gets a little nice out, they're out strolling around like there's nothing to worry about. These fucking pricks.
yes,
So
they are.
but it's go.
These fucking pricks.
Yeah.
You really turned into dice. Like you're just fully diced now. You don't even realize it.
I don't even
Fully
realize.
dice.
He's diced out.
I did watch The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, Private Parts. It's whatever. Private Parts is a fantastic comedy. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane is overlooked because a lot of people think it was lazy and he only played himself. But that's a funny fucking movie.
What
man.
about The Adventures of Ford Fairlane?
Yeah, I noticed that too.
What did
Both
I say?
times. Both times he called it Ford Fairline.
Fairlane? Sorry.
The German version is The Adventures of Ford Fraulein. Christian, It's gold. Every episode, you have to just slightly mispronounce a word, and Dave and I are gonna pounce on it.
Yeah.
He's
Fucking
great.
skunk.
Fucking Dice over here. He is. He's getting more as times go on. He's becoming more and more Dice-like. You know what he is? He's loaded dice.
Loaded dice. What does that mean?
Loaded. You never heard of loaded dice?
Oh, like I'm hot to roll or what? I don't know. What is loaded dice?
Oh, no. B, you know what loaded dice are?
I'm the cock of the walk.
I know what loaded dice are. Yeah.
What are they, B?
Aren't they like they've been rigged?
Correct.
Yes,
Loaded.
you could cheat with them.
They put a weight in them.
Yeah.
Okay, now that you've explained it, yeah, I've heard the term before.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say, what the fuck? Who am I working with here? They never hear nothing. Fucking cock of the walk, top of the pops. Fucking, how many things do we have to go? People waiting on the group page. They were even saying, they go,
Yeah,
I don't understand this. But the funny thing is, some people, regardless of their age and their location, it's a weird thing. Some people know exactly what I'm talking about, and then some other people say, you know what? No, I never heard of a certain phrase. So it's weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm with the others.
I'm with the others too, because I've asked people older if they've heard of some of these expressions that you say, and they're like, never heard that in my entire life.
What?
And they're like 70, 80 years old.
That's, I don't know. Well, it's weird. Isn't that odd? Some people know, and some different ages and shit. Wow.
You know what they say? Bed is the poor man's opera.
Bed is the poor man's opera?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I know. I did that intentionally. I looked up a really old saying a few days ago to just intentionally fuck with you guys, because you guys are always doing it to me. So I pulled out an old one.
What have I done?
Dave.
Well, wait a minute. You already schooled me today on Saved by the Bell. I didn't know it had something to do with a toe.
Yeah, it had to do with the bells around the dead people. I think they used to bury them with like little bells outside, strings going out, and if they were alive.
Fucking this again, Jesus.
I get that. Well, the thing is, I thought Saved by the Bell was something that had to do with school, and not because of the show. Not because of the show. Don't laugh. I'm just saying.
It's all right.
A teacher would ask you like a tough question in class or something would be going on in class, and then the bell would ring, and then you didn't have to answer, or you could move on to the. And Saved by the Bell. That's what. Or no.
Boxing?
Stop. Boxing. Yeah. Fucking yes. Saved by the Bell. That's definitely boxing. Holy fuck.
Nah, Saved by the Bell goes back to ancient times.
But I think it fits best in. Well, yeah, I guess not. I guess life and death are a boxing match. Yeah. All right. I guess that is the most important Saved by the Bell there is if it's on your toe. So we went from toe bells to toe tags, basically.
Toe bells.
Right? Tobin Bell. Yeah.
Tobin Bell.
I can tell C really wants to get into the next one.
Saved by the Tobin Bell. All right. I guess I'll just read the since he looks like he's ready to quit.
Quit.
All right. Lords of Salem, 2012, written directed by Rob Zombie. Heidi, a radio DJ, is sent a box containing a record, a gift from the Lords. The sounds within the grooves trigger flashbacks of her town's violent past. Is Heidi going mad, or are the Lords back to take revenge on Salem, Massachusetts? Salem.
Okay, I'll say this right now. All three movies we're talking about tonight, I'm quite fond of all three.
Same with me.
Okay, now
2 out of 3 for me.
Okay, if I give good to hear now, good. Okay, if we're giving it a number rating, this one is not the highest number rating of the night. Matter of fact, it's probably the lowest. However, I enjoy sitting down and watching this more than the other two. I get more personal enjoyment out of it. And it's been that way since the first time I've seen it. It's just my kind of movie, and I get a little bit excited when it's time to sit down and watch it. So.
Well, it's probably because of the influence of The Shining, in the sense of like this is coming right from Zombie's mouth. He said that he wanted that feeling, a Kubrick feeling, like The Shining, like you're going on the journey with her.
It's Kubrickian.
Indeed.
And if I think Zombie gets a bad rep, I know that like you guys weren't as fond of, more so B than D, a 3 from Hell. 31 you guys weren't fond of. I like both of those. But
3 from Hell is hot garbage.
Fuck off. But if they you take out, and I know there's Halloween fans out there too. Rob Zombie's Halloween. I mean, but if you took those two movies out and you went from House of a Thousand Corpses to The Devil's Rejects to Lords of Salem,
Yeah.
I think he would be talked about in much higher regard than he is now.
I agree wholeheartedly, and that is that's a big part of my disdain for 31 and 3 from Hell to a degree, because of what I saw in this particular movie. Everything else was a huge step down. Production value, the time that was spent, everything about it visually is so much better than anything that's followed. That's what it is. To me, this, and I know this is a little controversial because people don't like it, but I think his best looking movies were in a row: Halloween 2 and this. From a technical standpoint, I loved the way they looked. I thought he was soaring as far as, now H2, it's a weird, the narrative is kind of fucked up. That's obvious. It's not for everybody. I get that. But the style of filmmaking, like his vision, if you will, for H2 and this, where he was going, this is when I was really at my height with how much I really appreciated him. And to see what he did after that, run-of-the-mill things like 31 and 3 from Hell, to me, it was such a drop-off that it hasn't been the same since.
See, I don't feel the same. I mean, it's a drop-off from this film and from Devils and House, but I mean, I still hold those. I think I came in at like 7s for those movies or so.
Yeah.
And Brandon, you could be whatever. I mean, your credibility flushed down the toilet.
I honestly think 3 from Hell is one of the worst movies of the last decade. I truly do.
I don't understand why.
I just think
I
it's
don't
awful.
see it.
I think it's such a drop off. This film, I will say this is, I think, his best film in terms of toning down his characters and telling a very coherent, simple story while still having the Rob Zombie stamp in terms of like the nightmarish images and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's a very coherent, understandable story, and it's one of my favorite Rob Zombie, and I like Rob Zombie.
Look, it's relative, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the movie, but I'm just saying, I think it gets a little batshit near the end a little bit too. I don't think you can explain everything.
I honestly feel like I could explain everything. There's one question I'm gonna have when we get into the deep dive about one thing showing up in one place. But other than that, I feel like I have a grasp on it for someone who uses a lot of nightmarish imagery and what the hell's going on and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty simple to follow.
I think people be blowing this movie much like they blow a movie like fucking, what was that one that came out last year? Hagazusa, okay? This is definitely on the same level.
This is way better than Hagazusa.
I agree. I'm talking about just technically, people like that whacked out visual shit and stuff like that. I think that this is definitely better, and the reason there's disdain is not necessarily because it's Rob Zombie, because if you replace his wife, which, by the way, I thought Sherry was just fine in this role. But
this is her best role. This is her best role to me.
Yes, I think we're all in agreement there. But I think that people have it's a Rob Zombie film, so it has that Rob Zombie feeling solely because of her. If you take her out of the movie and replace her with fucking, I don't know, Angela Bettis or Lauren Ashley Carter or somebody, a different actress in this role, I think it would be better well received. I just think that people don't like her, and they go, "Oh, of course, it's a Rob Zombie movie. It's got to have some Rob Zombie stamp in it."
People unfairly hate on her because I don't think she's a bad actress. I just think
I don't either.
That she's playing the parts the way she's told to play the parts. Sometimes they come off annoying and ridiculous, in some of the films, but she's only doing what she's told. This shows that I think she has some depth to her acting, actually.
I agree. And I've made this comparison before. Everybody blows fucking, and I love her too, but everybody blows Asia Argento. Nobody says a bit. Well, okay, since there was that little controversy with that thing, but I mean, from as an actress, the standpoint before that, nobody ever said, "Oh, she just has jobs because of her father. She's a fucking horrible actress." But people never say that. People always said, "Oh, I like her, I like her, I like her." Now this girl here, who's also a pretty girl and everything else, you're gonna sit there and tell me that fucking Asia is a better fucking actress for certain than fucking Sherry Moon Zombie? I don't see it.
No, I agree.
Yeah. I think it's bullshit that she gets so much hate. I really do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think it's.
I think we all do. I think we're all on the same
Good.
page. I've never been a Sherry Moon hater by any means. So, anyway, but I agree. And that's exactly it. And that's why I think the downfall is, I guess you have to look. And again, I don't really. Maybe when I first saw Halloween, I disliked it, but I've grown to appreciate it a little bit more over the years. It's not my favorite. H2, I think, is better, as we did when we did the whole series. But again, I actually probably the biggest zombie fan here, only because I actually appreciate 31 and 3 from Hell as well.
Yeah, I guess
so
you
overall, I think I actually appreciate his whole filmography more so than the two of you.
There you have it. It's weird.
I was gonna say it's weird because 31 I don't like, but at least it's it looks like a Rob Zombie. 3 from Hell it looks so amateurish.
Well, I think he was playing around with what budget he had to make said movie. We're not talking about that movie, but I was all on board, and I've watched that 3 times now, and I've enjoyed it every time. Every time.
I was known as the zombie guy for years by some people. I loved all this stuff, but I had to be honest. When a movie came out I didn't like, when 31 came out, I was very disappointed. And I said, well, that's that. And then when 3 from Hell came out, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Didn't like it. It's the same thing with like Saw. I was a huge fan of the Saw series. Matter of fact, what was it, my number 2 or my number 3? Huge. Yeah. Okay. However, with the last 2 movies, that's dropped a little bit. I fucking borderline hate the part 7, whatever the fuck it was, and Jigsaw was just okay. It was just there. I don't hate it, don't love it, but those last 2 movies didn't do anything to elevate the series. If anything, they brought it down because I was high up on 1 through 6. But I mean, I know it's irrelevant, but I'm just saying I have to be true to the game. I can't just watch something and say, well, you know what I mean? Just because
true to the game.
Gotta be. Just because I love everything that preceded it, guess what? I got to call a spade a spade. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be waving the flag anymore if I think they've dropped off. And Rob Zombie's, here's the complaint about this movie that I noticed last night. It's not a complaint. It's a negative, I guess. But it's like, I noticed that because he toned it down, he doesn't have those white trash characters and all that other stuff. They don't have a lot to say. Aside from, the guy investigating and the 3 witches, the sisters, there's really, when it comes time for like real meaningful dialogue, like at certain moments, like when she's at home hanging out with Whitey and they're playing the music and they're just having these I tell him he should replace his rug, and dead air, what, dead hair, and then they're just like dancing. What was that? They're just very, nothing is going on in those scenes. They're just there to fill time and to show that they have a relationship, but there's no meaningful dialogue. And I noticed that a few times in this movie that I think he's incapable of writing friendly dialogue between 2 normal people. Because if you watch that scene, there's very little said. It's like watching Friday the 13th, part 1, happy anniversary. But I mean, it's like there's very little dialogue. So they're playing Monopoly. There's nothing going on in that department. And that's my critique about him. He can't do it, so he just kind of took it easy in those scenes.
I agree. He probably does have issues writing that kind of stuff, but I think that the acting is well enough where you can pick up on the things being said in their silence. Whitey's love and concern for Heidi and what she's been through, and obviously when she relapses and starts smoking crack again. So I think there's enough there in the acting to at least, I'm here for you, I love you, I'm just gonna be there, and I kind of like that,
Well, and
that dead hair joke is funny.
See, I feel like they were trying to establish or at least show that they had some sort of relationship, like sexual relationship in the past. That's what's come through for me. So I feel like there is meaning there in what's not said and them dancing around the topics. That's how I took it. I mean,
when she puts him on the couch and he's like, the couch, really?
The couch, really? Yeah, I get that.
I mean,
and
there's, and that's it. And then even when she has that first bad day, when this is before she sort of relapses, Ken Fore's character is like all pissed off because he can see it he feels like she's already relapsed and whatever. So for me, there is enough. It's definitely its quietest film.
Yeah.
Of all of them, but it works, and I think
yeah, because it's focused on story, and it actually gives you answers and stuff, and you have an investigative character that drives the story along, and it's, to me, it's
so with the investigative character, excuse me, and with everything else that they've done, then doesn't it kind of shit on some of the thought process that this could be like an allegory, or her relapsing and her drug addiction and everything taking over as what's happening in the film? I'm not saying that that's what it is. I take things very literally a lot of times, so I'm taking it as we're seeing what's happening, and this is witches and this is evil and everything else. But there is an argument to be said that it could be in her mind or a product of relapse.
Yeah, that would definitely hurt it. That would having his character in it would definitely hurt it. That's
why I say I don't think I see it like that. Sorry, Brandon, but that's why.
No, I'm with you. I see it quite literally also. You know,
I do too.
The descendants of the witches, or, you know, seeking revenge on the bloodlines of those who persecuted them.
Well, then you can't have, like, maybe you can, because it's still the history of Salem, but I think that whole opening then of setup, which is great. I'm just saying that negates or works against the whole drug addiction theory.
It does, but I think the drug addiction theory is just, I don't know, yeah, I don't know.
She does say a really cool line when I watched it again last night, or not last night, the other night, which was she says when she thinks someone's at number 5 down the hall,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she just says, "I'm here living in number 2," and I thought maybe I read into that like she goes, "I'm here living in shit."
Oh,
like my life is shit.
Wow.
Just a side note, it was kind of funny. I'm like, I wonder if they did that on purpose.
Maybe.
It sounds like they might have, actually. I'm here
cool.
living in number 2.
Yeah. I like that. Here's something I never noticed until last night's viewing. Isn't it odd that there are no other tenants in this place but her? I mean, we know that 5 has not been rented out, and she says that apartment's a dog, I can't rent it out. So you would think that she had a flourishing, you know, a thing going on here, and we never see any other tenants. Maybe it's just a budgetary thing, but it just occurred to me last time, like, well, is she just here to watch over her? She just happens to be here. Where are the other tenants? You know? So, again, not a critique, just something that I found a little odd, and it never registered till last night. It happens sometimes.
Well, yeah, because she does make that reference to 5 being unrentable.
Yeah.
And so where is 3 and 4?
Right. Yeah. Weird, isn't it?
They mean nothing to the story, but it would have been kind of cool to maybe see them in one scene.
Sure, absolutely, anything. And there's, like I said last.
Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead. No.
I believe there was some re-editing to this as well, and some jigging, but from my understanding, nothing like really super alternative showed up on like the Blu-ray or anything like that. I don't have the Blu-ray of this. I watched this on Shudder that I just shit on last episode.
last review. Yeah.
Yeah, last review.
I have the Blu-ray. I think that I've watched the what do you call it? The commentary with him, because I always do, but I can't recall. I know there's nothing behind the scenes. I don't think anything like that. But again, I'd have to look.
I have the steelbook of it. It was super cheap. It's like $12 for the steelbook, and I love it. It's one of my favorite steelbooks. It just looks so cool.
And so does the Blu-ray I have is that lenticular cover. It's really cool. It's like 3D. You see her and the stuff in the background. It's done really well. And I got it when I first saw this movie. It was my favorite movie of that year. I loved it. I constantly watched it when it first came to Blu-ray. And my wife was almost to the point that she was, sick of hearing it. You know what I mean? She's like, again, you're watching this
soundtrack, that record, the music from that. I listened to that.
I love it.
Drive. I think it's really cool.
I do too.
I like it too. The only thing that I question that's kind of funny is like they get all the tickets for the concert. Like, who's gonna go see a concert of this? It's like a 30-second record. Like, what? You're gonna go and yeah, exactly.
Same tickets for the guy that they're interviewing at the beginning. That looks like he's from Lords of Chaos. Funny enough.
Yeah. Right. And did you notice that at the end at the show they're all social distancing? They're all like 8 seats apart.
Well, that they are. But I can answer that question. They got the ticket sent to them because of the obvious reason this isn't really a concert. And we see the other females that are the descendants of the people that, put down, what her name is, Margaret and the other 6 witches, put down their coven. So this is just a revenge tale. And every time they hear the song on the radio, they freeze and they go through what they do. So the only people that are going to want to go to that concert are the people that hear that song on that station and are drawn
affected by it. Yeah.
That's why at the end there's like 20 people there
it's all the descendants. Yeah.
And they
I like how the women they go nuts. They just sort of like freeze naked like that. And
cool.
Am I crazy or did I see Barbara Crampton?
I don't think so.
I've read that she's in it.
I saw her. She's one of the Frozen women. She plays. Yep. Okay. I'm not nuts. She's in it for like a second. You just see her face.
Yeah. I will. While you guys are talking, I didn't confirm it, but now that you said that, I thought the same thing, and I read it in someone's review.
Okay.
That
Because if it's not her, it looks exactly like her. Literally the scene where the record's playing, they're showing like the woman about to get into the shower. She's naked. She's frozen. They're showing another woman in her apartment. Then they show another woman, and it's Barbara Crampton. And she's also just like frozen, just staring there. She must have like done them a favor. Just be like,
How did I not pick up on that?
It's literally like 2 seconds.
Yeah. I know the scenes when they show them freezing. The one girl's working at the restaurant. The other girl's about to get in the shower.
Yeah.
There's a longer scene with her at the beginning, I believe, and that's what got trimmed out. That's what I was reading, if there was alternative footage. And supposedly she played a bigger role. So did Sig Haig. And they said that it didn't make sense. The more they try to explain things, the more it made it more convoluted. So they trimmed it back. They said they scaled back.
Yeah.
I think this was from Rob Zombie's interview on Bloody Disgusting back at the time of filmmaking is where I got this information from. So, but it was, it's interesting because they don't really make much of a big deal of that. That's the reason why. I guess there was more to her.
Wow. Well, it's interesting. They only show Sid Haig and Michael Berryman for a hot minute.
I didn't even see Sid Haig. I saw Michael Berryman. I saw Michael Berryman for a sec. I didn't even see Sid Haig.
Wow, yeah, they're both doing the same thing. One's on one side, one's on the other. They take her out of that Iron Maiden type thing, whatever the hell it is, that cage, and then they put her in the other thing and they strap her down, and then they put the mask on her face and they burn her. They're just there.
That's cool. The images of Margaret Morgan like just hiding in random spots in her apartment.
Yes.
Also the image of the Iron Maiden just swinging there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And when she goes into like number 5, gorgeous.
I love it. The music,
the look is great. The music, like you just said, Dave, is great. Everything complements one another. What's your butt?
No, I'm waiting for your butt. You're gonna say it.
No.
I thought you were gonna complain about the rotisserie.
I haven't shaved it in a while.
Okay.
No, I don't even care about demon, turkey-based devil.
He looks like a rotisserie chicken. Did you ever had to get a rotisserie chicken and pull the wings? His legs, his arms look like the wings of a rotisserie chicken.
Well, we saw the back. It said Kenny Rogers Roasters. Very cool.
Is he supposed to represent the baby who wants to be reborn?
I think he's impregnating her, and I think that's what it is because if you look at her hands, it looks like she has 2.
Isn't he the devil?
I thought he's the child that she's gonna birth.
I don't think so. I think he is another form of Satan. The first one we see is the big beast when she walks in the bedroom.
That's who I thought was Satan, the big hairy beast.
But I don't think he impregnates straight up. I think that because she's holding those 2 long things that come out, I guess you could see their umbilical cord, so I guess you could think
that's what.
But
I
always took it. But look at what she's holding. It looks like they're fucking 2 cockheads. Look like she's holding 2 dildos and they're shaking. So I took it as double dongs, and that it was an impregnation.
I took
shaking
it
not stirred. Double dongs.
That's how Dave takes his double dongs.
Yeah, I got shish kebabbed. Right. That's what I don't know. That just seems to me because of the shape of him. It looks like she's holding 2 cocks. So I'm like, well, okay. She's getting
why not? There's a lot of cock imagery, and that's what the masturbating dildoed priests and no face priests and the priest that literally tries to make him go down on her in the dream.
Oh man, that's a good scene.
Go down on him. Sorry.
That's a good scene. Just
see, that scene is so good because of the representation. Because what happens right before that is she's being called to Christ, right? She goes into that room, the red room, and she sees the red cross, so she's holding out her hands to Christ almost. But then the devil's lurking behind her, and there he is, that beast. Then the next day she's walking, and I guess she has this in her mind. She's walking her dog, and then she goes, well, I'm going to see if maybe I can go back to religion or go to religion, and maybe that can help me in the situation I'm in, because this is before she goes into the drugs. She's doing her thing. And then she goes in, and what happens? They're more powerful than that. They fuck with her, where she actually believes that even, the army of Jesus is you know what I mean? They're trying to fuck with her too.
The army of Jesus.
That was one time where I don't know what it is, because I like her in this movie. Like I said, never had an issue with her. But when she's holding her arms up, she's got this look. It almost looks like they filmed it 100 times, and they're like, Sherry, come on, literally, you have your arms up, and she looks like she's just like. I don't know what it is. And I noticed it this view. I'm like, she looks so bored here. I don't know why that took me out, but for whatever reason, it bothered me for a split second. The scene's not very long, so it's not a big deal. But there's a lot.
You can't get entranced. You got bored.
That was it. She was entranced, but it looked like boredom. But there's a lot of those scenes which are like Cubert.
Cubert. I'm cubic. That'd be great.
Cubert.
It's Cubertian.
Holy where like it's just long, lingering shots going down the hallway, and they all work. Like there are going to be people that find this movie dreadfully boring and dull, and I personally don't see that. I find that there's enough going on here, but you got to let the movie like sort of like bring you in, take you in, if you will. It's a mesmerizing experience, and if you don't let that happen, I could see you being very bored with it.
It's a very visual film.
This is true.
But the story
shouldn't turn people off, but it does.
No, it shouldn't. But because the story's there,
people complain about the third act only. People say they like it until it turns into a music video in the third act. That's the common complaint that I hear people that don't like it say. And that's fine.
They're only saying that because Rob Zombie directed it. If this wasn't Rob Zombie directing it, there'd be no comparison to a music video.
They say the same thing about House of a Thousand Corpses. It's one long music video. That's what people always say. That's people that don't like Rob Zombie.
The with that was those like the negative inserts, which we talked about when we covered that film. But I don't see it here. I find this is his most controlled film, if you will. I still think I like The Devil's Rejects better. But I'm just saying this is his most controlled film. I feel like he knew what he wanted. And again, if you read the interview, he says there's stuff on the screen that when I still watch the film to this day are exactly how I envisioned it, and other things that are not nearly what I was expecting, because he was giving a Jason Blum budget, which was smaller comparatively to what he had before. He had to work within it, which meant cutting back. So they said they were changing things last minute. And I respect that. When you could change things and kind of work on the fly, that's when the creative juices get flowing, and a movie could start going up or it could start going down like that. And for some reason, this one continues to go up. Like, I think him working like that, it works in the movie's favor.
Yeah.
The only thing I was really confused about, so Reverend Hawthorne is the leader of the witch hunters and stuff like that. Why is the music written in Reverend Hawthorne's diary?
Because he says at the beginning, as he's writing it, that it's haunting. He goes, there's something, and it's driving him mad, literally, the fucking music, and he keeps hearing it, and she said, it's driving me mad, or something like that. It's making me insane, and it's constantly, this music's constantly playing. So I interpret it as, it's in his head so fucking bad, he's fucking him up so bad that either A, they are making him write that down, so that maybe someday that they're, the witches are putting their plan, this is going to be discovered, somebody's going to play it in this area, and we're going to get it's going to help aid our revenge. Or he just wanted to get it out on paper because he was so obsessed with it in his fucking head. It was making him sick. So I think
either way, it would be an effect of the witches, because that would be how the descendants got it and were able to recreate it and send it out.
Yep.
All right, I accept that. I like that.
Cool.
You know what I just thought of right now as you were talking, Brandon, and asking that question, and Dave was explaining. I was just thinking back in the movie too, and maybe they put that guy at the beginning because why would that guy be there? Because it doesn't look like it's a small, not a small town, but smallish town. Everybody seems to listen to this radio show with these three shock jocks. But where I'm going with it is, it's not a usual guest to have on. So obviously Rob Zombie put him in as a guest. I'm talking about, I can't think of his name. The guy who looks like Lords of Chaos again.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember his name for the life of me. But that musician, do you think he put him in there saying like he's kind of like a false evil, false prophet? Here he is at the beginning, pretending he's got the facade of evil and whatever, but it's all just a facade. It's all an act. And at the end, she personifies actual evil. And there's a actual evil comes into play.
It's three sweet old ladies who turn out to be evil, not this guy who looks like he's about to slaughter like a herd of lambs.
Yeah, it's funny.
True. Yeah. But I think you might be onto something. It's like, okay, this is what people think of when they think of evil, but really this is how it's played. It's under the covers. It's not fucking out for you to see.
Maybe it's attack on critics as well, because he's dressed, obviously I remember being at a competition and they were playing Rob Zombie came on, and it was one of the songs. I think it was not More Human Than Human, but
Dragula.
Demon Speeding, I think. And I remember one of the moms going, "What the hell is this crap?" Meanwhile, I'm like, "I love this. This is awesome. Thank God." It was just playing in between numbers. But where I'm going with it is, like, you get that mainstream response of like, this is just garbage. This guy is fucking a devil worshiper. He's a piece of shit. He's evil. Like everybody, Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie, they've all gotten that. Alice Cooper, they've all gotten it. So maybe that's his way, because they're not really treating that guest with respect either. They're making fun of him as well, like, oh my, I was conceived to this music, and my mom.
It's like in Chucky. It's like in Chucky when Chucky exposes that goth guy who acts like he's a devil worshiper. It turns out he's just like a school nerd who just dresses up. Remember, he rips out his nipple ring and then suffocates him.
Oh, yeah. But
that's the point. I think it might be like kind of a fight back to critics of that viewed Rob Zombie like that as well. But I also think he's using him as just saying, "Hey, look, it's an act. It's not. I'm not really personified evil." And then you're right, and then it ends up being these sweet old ladies that are actual evil.
They're great. They are great. Not Molly, Sunny, Megan, and Lacey. Yeah. They're all really good actresses. They all do their job well.
Megan's really funny.
She is great, man. She's kind of the highlight because she takes it so damn seriously.
Oh man, when she talks about kids to Francis.
Oh yeah. That's a waste of time. And then she's like, I love when she goes when Whitey calls her house. Or no, when Hawthorne calls her house and he's looking for her, or is it Whitey? Either way, she answers the phone and she goes, "She's not here." And he goes, "So dreadfully rude to be calling at this hour anyway."
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
So prim and proper.
Yeah, so dreadfully rude. But then when she's giving her that thing and she's talking about the fucking your loins and all that stuff, and she says there's a difference between fate and
destiny.
Yeah. And then she's like, it's cool. She's like, the darkness in your soul, the only reason you exist. She's talking about her conceiving the baby, which is fucking great, man.
Oh, it is. No,
she's really hardcore.
There's not enough baby spitting in this either, right?
Think about the parents. Think about the parents of that baby. Like, oh my God, what did we just do? We allowed these actors to spit on our baby.
Oh, it must have been like it was like a little doll at that point or something.
Fake as fuck.
I saw it. It was a real baby. It was screaming.
It was the same baby they used in a Serbian film.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Fake baby.
Yes. No, that was a real baby in Serbian film. Yeah, I was that baby. My ass is still sore.
Oh, here's something funny. The first time we saw this movie, me and my brother and my buddy Scott, we went to the movies to see this. We were big fans of Rob Zombie since he came out, and we went to see this. It was a limited engagement, and we went the night, and you guys remember that one scene where the door opens up to 5, and all of a sudden you see all these rats running down the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that was in front of us got up and left, and that scene and never came back. For some reason, those rats put him over the edge. That's when he gave up. He's like,
Well, you know what's really funny that you mentioned the rats again in either that same interview or something else that I read. Someone said why did you CG the rats? And Rob Zombie was like, I said those were real rats.
Yeah, no shit, they were real rats.
Well, and someone thought they were CG'd, which I thought was bizarre because they didn't look remotely CG'd. But
speaking of CG,
it's the way they scurry so fast. It can look a little CG.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I didn't pick on that at all. But there was this one scene in Jane Doe when the cat looked and it made when it wasn't a hiss. It made I think it just made a meow at Jane Doe when she was there. And for some reason, the way its mouth looked, I thought it was CG. But neither my wife or daughter agreed with me. I don't think they just CG'd that cat in that one scene. They said, no, it looked real. I said,
Manly,
okay.
He gets meaner by the day.
Yeah. Yes. So we go from a cat to rats in this one.
Cataract.
Cataracts.
I got cataracts.
Cataract. What the fuck?
I can't see. I got cataracts.
Oh, and that guy was walking a goat. She was out walking her dog, and then she came right before she went into the thing. And the guy, a masked guy, which, by the way, there's masked people through this whole movie. They're on the TV when she's watching TV. She has the pictures in her house, in her apartment of the guys with the masks. And then those real masked guys that every time I see them, they remind me of a Fulci movie, the presentation of them. And that's my only complaint about this movie is that one scene when they show up, and I don't know if that really happened or it's a dream. And it's when she goes and sees Whitey and explains what's going on, and that song's driving me crazy. And then she coughs and she bleeds, and then he calls 911. Then they come out and they put their finger on him, and he gets the eyes and he passes out. Next thing you know, she wakes up in bed. That is the only confusing scene. The end, I don't need anyone to explain the end to me, as ridiculous as that sounds. But that scene there, that's the only thing. Did that really happen? And he brought her back home, or was that entire?
I took it as one long dream sequence.
I think you're right, but that's the only thing I was always like a little bit confused with.
Trivia question: what was the goat's name in real life?
White. Oh no, White. Black Phillip.
Whitey Ford.
Noodles.
Noodles, huh?
Noodles.
Noodles the goat. Nice. Okay. How about that goat? I love that part in the beginning when all that stuff's going on. And do you guys think that one girl looks like Meg Tilly from fucking Psycho 2? Because I had to look it up the first time I saw it, but she'd be the same age. So, but when that girl's yelling with the dark hair, she's one of the witches in the beginning. She looks spot on like Meg Tilly. I thought it was her.
I'm gonna have to go. I know who you're talking about. I didn't think it at the time. But
sounds like her, looks like her. It's obviously not because she's so. What's that?
She yelled Norman too. It was weird.
Yeah.
That was the name of the goat.
Yeah. Norman and Noodles.
Why the goat? Why not the pig? How about when she says that to that guy? I love that. Why the goat? Why not the pig? For no reason. And then he says, God is the unholy pig. He's fucking great, that guy. That guy is funny. Oh, shit. Oh. But yeah, how about that scene later on when what's his name? Bruce Davison's character comes to the house with the witches. I fucking love that scene.
Are you trying to fuck her brain?
Why are you laughing?
It's good though. I think he does a great job. And again, I think there is an elevation of the movie with his character and everything he does. And it's not like it's almost like he's intrigued by it, which is what's taking him down there. It's not like anything crazy, but then he realizes he's in over his head, especially when he gets a couple of pots bashed against him.
Yeah, I don't think he's on to this big grand design that the witches have. I don't even think he's aware that there are witches. I think he just thought it's a cool fact that he found out she's related to Hawthorne. And he's like, I'm going to share this with her.
Yeah, but he was mad. He was mad when he found out. So there is some belief there. Because when he finds out, he's like, fuck me, he says. He's upset about it. He looks for a reason. He wants to know what's going on here.
I thought there was to his wife when I first watched this movie. Like, I thought there was another scene with his wife for some reason. I don't know why I thought that, but there's more. I wish they expanded on more and how the music was affecting all the women in the area.
Well, she doesn't count. Remember, they specifically say,
she's not
is
a
she from
descendant.
here? She's like, she's Lithuanian, so it wouldn't affect her.
Okay.
So that's why she's playing it, and she's, you know what I mean? And I do love their relationship, by the way. It makes you like them more.
I think she's Venezuelan.
What I say,
Yeah.
Lithuanian? Whatever. Yeah. Okay. Whatever it was. Venezuelan.
Totally different areas of the
They
world.
both end in an N. What can I tell you? It's like COVID and David. I'm trying to find another ID, you know? Oh, Madrid.
American.
David from Madrid has gotten COVID, you know? This is the only ID. While he was reading The Wizard of Id. Did you ever see The Wizard of Id, that comic? No?
I think so. But the women in the town, they don't join the coven at the end.
No, they're the sacrifices.
They're dead.
They're killed. They're
supposed to be
bodies.
killed.
They're all the naked ladies. Okay.
Yeah,
All the
they
naked.
All
Yeah.
the naked ladies. All the naked ladies. All the naked ladies. All the naked ladies.
Yeah, they want to kill them. They're descendants of the people that killed them. But the ultimate effrontery is fucking that she is Hawthorne's grandchild. So not only is she gonna fucking get killed, she's gonna birth the Antichrist just to piss off fucking, you know, what Hawthorne was trying to do to begin with.
So
but
thank God they all listen to this radio show.
Well, it's a small town in Salem. You know, that's a small town, a small radio station in Salem. So it makes sense.
Although they do worship her at the end, like she's like the Madonna. They got that look on their face. They're all happy to see her.
Well, she's carrying their savior.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
and that
it's
song,
perfect. Yeah.
All Tomorrow's Parties, that fucking song. And what should the paga wear? I love this movie. Made me discover the fucking Velvet Underground because they have the other song earlier.
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers didn't make you do that? Because they have a chain cover. And
no, that's Cowboy Junkies.
I know, but it's an original. It's originally Velvet Underground.
Okay,
You talking about Venus in Furs?
Venus in Furs is fucking great. Yeah. Yeah, that song. That's earlier on in the movie. They're playing it on vinyl. And then later on at the end, as we were just talking about, that's All Tomorrow's Parties. So there's two Velvet Underground songs on this. And I loved them both, and that's when I got into the Velvet Underground. So I got this movie to thank for that, because they do have some good music, man. I don't know how I missed it. But anyway.
I always thought the little creature reaching out to her, I only think it was like the child because the arms look very similar to when she finally does give birth and they take the creature out.
Maybe. I don't know. He's just like a fucking lobster or something. He reminds me of.
That's what it is. It almost looked like that little turkey had like lobster arms. That's how it almost looked like to me.
Oh,
yeah,
maybe.
Like, instead of little chicken wings.
Yeah, the rotisserie chicken.
Well, that was the problem. The end scene, and I'm glad they kind of took this out, was her giving birth, and it was just a big fucking turkey that came out of her. It was bizarre. So they cut it right out.
And they used the turkey baster to fucking to impregnate her with. They got it from Don't Breathe.
And then Dave came out and said, "Your father's turning over in his gravy."
Yeah.
And then Rob Zombie popped that went, ha, and then the movie ended. It's a big wink to the crowd.
Oh.
That was it. That's why it wasn't well received upon initial release. It was weird because it was Rob Zombie film, but it didn't play in 2,000 plus theaters. It played in like, I think something like they said like 300 or 400 theaters. It was a much better release.
Yep. This was the beginning of that. This one and 31 and the 3 from Hell. They were all, they were in and out. Yeah. Which I'm surprised this one should have, I don't know. I just think it's so much better than those other two that it should have played larger, I thought. But I guess it's not for everyone.
So you think she's with the coven now at the end?
No, she's dead, and that's the end of it. That's just fucking.
You think she's dead?
Yeah, why would she join the coven? You don't just fucking join up for because
she's the mother of Satan. She's fully given into the dark side.
You're taking the Rosemary's Baby approach, but her eyes are fucking all whited out. She's like a whole other thing now.
But they never find her. I
think that's
they never find anybody.
Transcended into this.
No, they find the dead bodies of all the women. The mass suicide.
My mistake.
Yeah.
I
still really like it.
I thought that was it. I thought she was
either way.
And happy.
Wait a minute. Why is she happy? Hold on. Let me say it again.
I think she's in a better place. She's happy, but but because of what Brandon said, now she's like the mother of Satan in the sense, and she will be. And it is a Rosemary's Baby nod.
And it makes more sense with the things you guys were bringing up earlier with the reaching out to religion and, you know, almost like the witch, you know, reaching out to the goodness and being denied, even though in this case it's by the, you know, the power of evil all along, and she ultimately embraces the dark side. Embrace the dark side.
I just think it's sad. I just think it's a sad story. There's moments in this film where you just feel so bad for her. When a whitey comes a visitor and he's like, what the hell's going on here? And he's trying to get on. She goes, no, just go without me. And their relationship and everything. He's trying to help her. And then how she goes back into the drugs and everything else. It's just a really, really sad story. And at the end, I don't know if it's a happy ending or not, but that thing at the end, they show her playing with the dog. I always took that as this was a tragic story. And we're flashing back to one time in her life when she was happy. She loved her dog. They were outside playing. It's a flashback. I've heard people like watch this movie and they take that scene literally saying, oh, so is this what became of her? I never, since the first time I saw that.
No, absolutely not.
It's just like the end of Devil's Rejects when they're all getting gunned down and they're flashing back to when they're all joking around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Those jovial fucking scenes before, which is funny that we see those guys having fun considering who they are, but whatever. That's what I never took that as she went on to this. But maybe she did. Maybe she went on to something. That she's in the coven. I don't know. I guess you just don't think about that.
I hope Troy's okay wherever he is.
Yeah, good old Troy. Yep. Maybe that's why they don't have many people in the apartments, because the dogs are allowed in the apartment and smoking. So I don't know. Not
Troy was smoking crack. You got dogs smoking crack in this apartment. How about the bleeding picture, the bleeding painting?
I love that. Yeah. Yes.
There's a lot of great little scenes like that there, little segments.
I see Argento, I see fucking Kubrick, and it reminds me of The Exorcist, the scenes of her just walking around with the leaves, much like when we see her walking around in The Exorcist, Reagan's mother. I always think of that, the way the town looks and everything.
That cathedral scene, though, is so cool. When she's walking up the stairs and you could see, like, the creature in the back. You could see him, like, standing there, like, far away. You can't quite make him out, but you could see him. Really haunting.
It's great, man. Yes. Yeah. It's fun.
Stuff.
It's fun. It's crazy. But it's also sad. But there's lots of stuff going. It's definitely, you know, the odd movie when you look at his, you know, his body of work. It stands out as being different than the rest. I wish he did more stuff like this. I really do. But
yeah, as do I.
Yeah. You know. This is one of my favorite films of his. This and Devil's Rejects, top 2 easily.
Nice. Well, what are we going to do here? I'm going to say it's a full head explosion again.
Same here, full head explosion.
Yeah, and it is for me as well. And again, that's based on the rating in case anybody's pissed off that we went to head ratings. That means it's 8.5 or above.
Yep. Correct. I don't think it's worthy of a nomination to Hall, but when it is, I'll say so. You know?
Yeah, look, I'll tell you this. If you tripled my score, it wouldn't make it. So, but
me too.
That's how I
yeah.
That's how I look at it. You're right. That's cool.
Nominate if you triple your score and it makes it, or if you think the other two gave a 10.
Right. Well, that was from John Rhodes, by the way. So thank you. And any reason to watch? Yeah, any reason to watch this movie is great. And did you guys happen to read that John Rhodes at one time recently started a Mad Men remake script? And I emailed it to you guys. Yeah.
With John Hamm? With John Hamm?
Mad Men. No, not that joke again.
No, not that joke.
Not again.
It sucks that he reached out to because those filmmakers are not going to be able to they're not going to make it or whatever. And now he's got this script that he put dormant because these filmmakers think they're going to remake it. And it's probably too late for that. Considering it got a little notch of love because of a re-release of Blu-ray or something else, or it was streaming on Prime. But I don't think we're fans of that movie.
Not overly.
It's okay.
People are, though.
It's okay.
People do like that movie a lot. I did. Like the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, hey, all right. It was a hidden gem. But then the more I watch it, I was like, I'm glad I saw it because it fits 80s slashers, and I love 80s slashers, and it's better than a lot of other ones. It's just not on the heights that some others are. So, but I enjoy it. I don't know. It might get remade. Who knows? They're trying to do a sequel for, what do you call it? The Mutilator. Now, The Mutilator 2, which is weird. Strange things happen, man.
Fall Break.
Yeah, Fall Break. That's another one.
The Mutilator.
That's
How
what we
did
can
he
do.
possibly survive all of this?
Who?
The Mutilator.
It's gonna be the son this time.
It's gonna be
like father, like son.
That's the catchphrase, the tagline.
Fall Break 2, The Mutilator.
Yeah.
Fall Break.
Fall Break, like father, like son. Don't even tie it into the Mutilator. I mean, it is, but I mean, keep the 2 out of the title and keep fucking the Mutilator out of the title. They'd be better off.
Just keep fucking the Mutilator.
Maybe the Mutilator could be the killer in Checkout. We can combine it all. Fall Break, Checkout, and fucking Killer Workout. All as one movie.
And in Checkout, he went and he got a Mars bar, and he became crazy, and they called him Madman Mars Bar. And we'll connect Madman to it also. Okay, let's move on.
How about this? Let's connect Madman. We can remake Madman partially using John's script. And in the summer camp, there is also a place, you know what I mean? Like Checkout could be inside there. They could have like a grocery store down the street from the summer camp. And inside the grocery store, they could have a robot.
A rabbit.
We can do 4 movies. Fall Break and tie into it. Man, I'm telling you. Imagine combining those 4 movies to make one slasher. I'm just gonna keep adding on every slasher we talk about.
Yeah, it's gonna make any sense. It's gonna be like the Exploded Heads movie, which is just a combination of everything.
I'm gonna write it down for next show. I'm gonna have a fucking whole thing, all those movies combined, how it could work. But that's next show. Okay, so we have one more movie. We have the big one here.
The big one.
Here's what I forgot to say. I'm sorry. John 5. I forgot to mention him. I love the fucking score of Lords of Salem with the piano and everything else. It's different than his other movies, and that was from John 5. I just want that.
Any relation to Ben Folds?
John 5 was the guitarist for Marilyn Manson, amongst some other bands. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Not related to Ben Folds, though.
Nope. He's not Folded. He's not Ben, and he's a different 5. Anyway. What's the matter, buddy?
Christian, would you stop looking at your background?
Ooh, look at him. I'm kind of scared of that. Wow.
I don't know if I'm more scared of the werewolf or the toothless wonder in the middle.
The toothless wonder of the 21st century. Toothless
all right.
aggression. Yeah, let's get on this movie.
American
How about
Werewolf.
that? Sorry.
No, go ahead. What were we going to say?
He's got a missing tooth, and he's right next to a big giant tooth. See? Fang? Yeah, see?
See if you can fit your whole head inside his mouth.
Yeah, do it.
That's fucking gold right there.
I'm glad I interrupted you now. That was worth it.
That was great.
Woo.
Alrighty, guys. Let me introduce American Werewolf in London from 1981, written and directed by John Landis. 2 American college students on a walking tour of Britain are attacked by a werewolf that none of the locals will admit exists. A walking tour of Britain? Weren't they just... That just sounds funny.
Oh, walking tour.
They were hiking. They were going to go to Italy too, weren't they? They had like 3 months.
Hunchbackers, yeah. They were a bunch of hunchbacks.
I thought you said hunchback. I thought you said fudge packers. Fudge packers. So you said backpackers. I thought you said fudge packers, and you thought I said
hunchbackers.
Hunchbackers. Awesome.
Oh fuck.
That's good stuff. Sorry, B. Go on.
My
What is it? Your tooth? Oh, Lordy.
Poor Brandon.
We did. Oh no, I introduced the movie. I did. Backpackers, fudge packers,
whatever they are.
Huntsacker.
Oh.
Yeah, I will tell you this. This is the movie that I don't come out and say it, but it is an epic fucking intro. Like the first 15 minutes of this movie, they're an epic thing. They're just perfect.
This is a perfect horror comedy and the best werewolf film, period, End of discussion. Ratings.
Yeah, I know Brandon pretty much just stole exactly what I was gonna say. It's always been in my top 10, and it continues to be in my top 10. That's what always means. And it's the werewolf movie for me.
It's always been in my top 10, and it will continue to always be in my top 10.
It's funny because The Howling came out the same year. It often gets compared, and growing up, I thought no comparison. When I was drawn right to this movie, and I'll explain. There's a nostalgia piece to that too. And The Howling, I always thought was a chore to get into. It gets better, but I always thought it was a chore with the whole introduction.
You thought The Howling was a chore to get into. Wait till we hear your nostalgia piece.
Fucking can't stand you.
I want bunch of heads right fucking here on a bench.
Well, The Howling was more like a 70s movie. It had that adult feeling to it, like it was made for adults. It was very 70-ish. Where this movie, because of the comedy influences and because they're kind of younger than the people in The Howling, and let's just face it, the fucking once you get to the werewolf transformation, and once you see the gore in the first kill and the first time what's his name comes back, I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you're on board.
The effects are amazing, and the reality is, like, I love The Howling now, but it's a great werewolf movie. This is the best werewolf movie.
Yes.
I agree.
I think there's a lot of great werewolf films, but there's nothing of this caliber.
Hey, we're talking about Bone Tomahawk. You were saying how you love the dialogue, and that I think this is a regular movie, but there's some great dialogue in this film as well. Excuse me, a great dialogue sequence. The nostalgia piece, very quickly, so I don't bore Brandon to death. My dad went to the video store, and probably the guy behind the desk at the store was someone probably like us. Brandon, wake the fuck up. He says, "Oh, this is a great comedy." My dad brings it home. I have a buddy sleeping over. We watch it. And I'm like, great fucking comedy. I'm scared shitless in my fucking seat watching it. And the second he has that dream sequence where he goes,
yeah,
click, turned it off, watched a couple of Scooby-Doo episodes, and went to bed.
Wow.
It scared the shit out of me. So, of course, that image has always been in my head. And again, will always be in my head. Sorry, back to the other joke. And just like Friday the 13th was like very impressionable, and it's probably why I love this movie to this day.
I wish I could see this in theaters.
Yeah.
This to me would be a perfect film to watch in the theaters. It is so atmospheric. Great opening scene. I mean, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but I love when he's in the hospital and he finally wakes up and that guy comes to see him and he's yelling at him and he's like, "No reason for hysterics."
Yeah. And you know who that guy is? That's the funny part. It's Frank Oz.
Yeah.
It sounds just like Bert. I always picture Bert saying that to him, which makes it even more funny, you know? Because Frank Oz's normal voice sounds like Bert from Bert.
Mr. Kessler, there's no need for it. Like, he's like always offended by him or something like that.
Yeah.
Dumbass kids.
Yeah.
Next time you watch this movie, picture Bert, the Muppet, saying all that stuff. I'm telling you, it makes it even better.
As opposed to Bert, not the Muppet.
Wow.
As opposed to any other Bert you know.
Well, Bert from fucking Return of the Living Dead. I don't know.
So it's not like we go scene by scene anyway, but you're right. That whole the atmosphere with them going into the pub and not being welcome, and it sets them on their way.
How about it's funny when they're trying to order stuff? If it's something hot you want, it's tea. Oh, you have tea then? No,
but I can make some. But I can throw it out. It is great. See, that woman always reminds me of someone from another movie, and I meant to look it up, and I forgot. Like, I feel like I've seen her in this movie many times, obviously, the many times I've seen it, and another.
I want to hear about the one time you didn't see her in this movie, because that's a fucking story.
No, I'm telling you. She's in another movie that I've seen plenty of times, and I forgot to look it up, and when I was taking notes, I forgot to do it. But either way. And I never got the joke until this time. You know the joke when they do the knock-knock thing in the beginning?
No, I don't get the knock-knock.
I finally got it. He's setting him up. He's telling him, say knock-knock. So he says knock-knock. Then he says, who's there? then the wrong guy is telling the joke. You get it? Okay, I'll do it to you, B. Say knock knock.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Oh, I get it.
See, so that's why he says who, because he's like, see, it took me to see, so I'm not so dumb.
Knock knock. Who's there? Who?
So
Oh, okay.
he goes, don't you get it? See, it took me till this time to get it, but now we both got
I
it.
didn't get it. I was like, wait, what's the joke? I understand they're saying it backwards, but I wasn't finding it funny at first.
He didn't know what to say, so he said who. You know, he was waiting for him to say who. You know.
I thought he was gonna say who, and I was like, who?
Oh, and that dream that scared you. See, every time I see that dream and the face he makes, it 100% looks to me like fucking Pazuzu. It's 100% The Exorcist.
That's exactly it. In fact, when you brought up The Exorcist during
Lords of
Salem, I swear I almost said the next film reminds me of The Exorcist because of that one image.
It has to be on purpose.
And that dream is absolutely insane with the Nazis.
Oh.
All the dream imagery in this movie is fucked up. Yeah.
No, with the Nazi monsters coming, and they're clearly a Jewish family. You even see the menorah getting blown off the thing.
There's
and
a
kids,
lot.
Oh my God, it's so violent and funny.
It's full of Jewish subtext, this movie.
Yeah.
People don't think. I never thought about it, honestly, until I'm going to give him credit. I want to, I must have been liking it when they talked about it, but I know that it was Jamie and Brian talking about it, and they started talking about all the Jewish stuff, and I never made the connection. All I thought about was the one scene because of the circumcision. You know what I mean? That they mention that he's Jewish, but now when you think about the dreams and everything, and in the dreams he's naked, which again they're talking about the circumcision, so he's always being shown naked. But there's all type of stuff. They're both Jewish men, and the women they talk about back home have Jewish names, and the guy that's the girl. So there's all this subtext that I didn't even pick up on until they mentioned it, and then I did some reading for it this show.
Yeah.
But I'm
Plus,
like,
Jack even calls David a putz at one point.
Right. Don't be a putz, David. Yeah.
And it bombed in Germany.
I heard it bombed at Hiroshima too.
Oh wow! And my joke's bad.
I'm tired today. Leave me alone.
But yeah, and those guys coming in, they're dressed like Nazis. I never made the connection that those monsters that came in, like you said, it was a Jewish household. Yeah, crazy.
What a slit
What about
throat,
the double
though.
scare? What about the double scare? Awesome. Wakes up. Oh yeah, the slit throat's good. Then he wakes up and she goes, "I got just the thing." Opens the curtains and then that the one Nazi guard monster comes out of the curtains. Yeah. That scared the shit out of me. Still, it's great. I love that scare.
That is when it was great. The Double Dream fake out in 1981 was fucking great. Being prevalent in fucking 2017 plus, like every other movie.
Well, dreams play into this too, like a little bit more.
Sure.
Yeah, and so it works a bit more. But I hear you. Sure. Even the trope that was not so much of a trope then. But the attack. So go back to the beginning and Jack's attack, if you will.
Oh, it's great.
Brutal. And the fact that he runs, like that's the first instinct is let's get the fuck out of Dodge. Oh shit, Jack, my friend.
Yeah.
Then he comes back. So like you forgive him because it's instinct that sort of pulls him away from it, but he realizes, holy fuck, my friend's in trouble, turns around to go get his buddy, but it's too late. And when you see him, oh
yeah. And this is understandable, unlike Friday 4. This is understandable why Jack screams, Jesus fuck, it's killing me. It's killing me.
He's skilling. He's skilling me.
Skilling.
Oh my God. And then Jack coming back, that makeup work to this day is top. Now, no wonder this movie won. This got the first Academy Award for makeup effects.
For Rick Baker, yeah.
And it deserved, there's tons of great makeup effects before this, but I'm talking about in this movie, that wrecked face, the gaping hole you see in the wound is beautiful. And then the little flap of skin.
Oh, man.
Gross.
And there was supposed to be a scene where he eats something and it falls through the hole, but that was edited out.
Yeah.
So Peter Jackson, I guess, took it and put it in Dead Alive because I think they used that there. But he says a line there that I thought is absolutely hilarious, which is like, "Life mocks me even in death."
Yeah, right.
And saw a girl crying and then shacking up with the guy.
Yeah, Debbie Klein, the girl he liked, wound up shacking. She cried a lot, and then she wound up shacking up with another one. Yeah, all Jewish last names, Klein.
Yeah, yep, everybody, even the guy that she hooked up with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that how they have that London Calling type situation with the fucking punks in the in the subway. You know? Yeah, that's good.
Oh, I was super attracted to her.
Oh,
when I was
don't
a kid.
even.
I was like, I thought she was amazing. Like,
I do still.
Yeah, she's great.
She was even great when she was in Child's Play 2, like 10 years later. But I mean, I thought about her here. Oh my God, she's fucking stunning, Alex. Oh my God. Oh, she's so.
in your basement last night instead of Skype.
Oh, dude, she's beautiful. She's still beautiful now. I'm telling you.
Oh, she's an attractive woman. She's like close to 70 now. She still looks good.
Dude, honestly, and I know I obsess about her, but she does kind of remind me a little bit of Firuza.
You know who else looked great? Meg Foster, naked in Lewis. She looked like a fucking prune.
I like.
We had great looking women, great looking females. At least one in every movie we've talked about tonight. We have Alex, we have Sherry Moon and Jane Doe.
And Emma.
But
from Jane Doe, the girlfriend.
Oh, I forget about her.
Ophelia Love Bond.
He was talking about the dead slab girl.
I'm sorry, she's gorgeous. What can I tell you? Matter of fact, she might be the best of the lot.
And she don't talk back.
Okay, how about it? Marry, fuck, kill. There you go.
Oh my Lord, we're doing this. We're doing a cut to the chase.
But no, it's all right. It occurred to me that there's 3 gorgeous women. That's all.
One of them happens to be dead on a slab.
You can't kill Jane Doe.
Yeah, so you gotta marry her or fuck her.
I'll fuck her.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Well, anyway, okay. But boy, Alex, yeah, you got me started on her.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Oh,
gorgeous. Maybe it's the accent too. I don't know, but
dude, the accent. It's my favorite accent for females. Like, I'm not really into accents usually, but something about that, because it's such a prim and proper thing. I always picture them as being like prim and proper. To hear them talk dirty or to know that they get down like that.
A cock.
Yeah, just anything. Like, fuck me in the arse, David, or something.
Sorry.
Maybe it's the Mary Poppins thing. Because I loved Mary Poppins when I was a kid, and she was British, and she stands for goodness and all that stuff. But apparently, Julie Andrews had a fucking real bad potty mouth on the set. So when I heard that, I'm like, you know what? I'm more attracted to her now. But anyway,
she's a dirty birdie.
And Alex is kind of a dirty birdie too. She takes this guy home. You know what I mean? Even though she's only had 7 men, but 3 have been one-night stands.
But I do like, how she tells that story and how she's not in the habit of bringing home stray men, American men. Yeah.
Yeah, she had 3 one-night stands, but they were from London. Yeah, it's okay. Stray American men.
But I like how they progress the story. So he's been bit and attacked from historic, lore. We know he's going to become a werewolf, but for him to be told by his dead friend being stuck in limbo that he has to kill himself and whatever, that's the unique part of this. Yeah. And then all the dead victims coming back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. How some of them are pissed off, but some of them are still cheery.
Yeah, the couple were still cheery.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, you could shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah. That is great. I appreciate that.
Enough. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I never appreciated that scene as much until this view, actually. Like, right at the end, because I have a bit of an issue with the movie where I think there's a little bit of downtime that's kind of unnecessary, and I always remember the end is kind of just there. Like, okay, then this happens and they're shot and then it's over. But I appreciated this view more than ever because of that scene in the theater and that conversation that happens right before it. I think is really good.
Oh, I love the whole thing. And you can even say it's a little bit of a zombie film since they are referred to as undead. This might be my favorite zombie film and werewolf film.
And Jack does look like a zombie.
Yeah, he progresses throughout. And that his first transformation scene, it's obviously one of the best transformation scenes ever, but it's so funny, like the way it starts out, because he's like, God, I'm hot. It's so damn hot. It's just it's
Jesus Christ. Like all the songs with Moon in it, I've always loved.
Yeah,
so good.
Great soundtrack.
Yeah. And that scene was great because you never saw full light. no shadows in the beginning one, and it just sort of evolves. Bye, Brandon. Just throw it up.
No, he's turning into a werewolf. Oh, Jesus Christ! It just came out of nowhere. Imagine that he came back in a werewolf mask on.
Oh my God, his hair is longer. You okay? Everything okay?
Yeah, what happened?
Oh, nothing. We're just turning into a werewolf. You ran out to turn into a werewolf.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna come back with that peach fuzz mask on. You know?
No, I got family at the front door. I wanted to see them real quick, but
Oh, really?
yeah, that's all right.
We're almost done.
So, but there's when he tries to get arrested, I wrote every bit of dialogue down there because it made me laugh every fucking time.
And Charles is a faggot.
Queen Elizabeth is a man. Prince Charles is a faggot. Winston Churchill is full of shit. Shakespeare's French.
French.
Shit, cunt, shit. I lose my mind every time. Like that, I want to read the script and just see that written down. Like it does. Queen Elizabeth is a man.
Victor Salva wanted to redo the balloon scene with the kid. But instead of taking the balloons, he leaves the balloons and he covers up his junk with just a kid and runs around the street with a kid covering his junk.
A lot of weather we're having today. When you stand in line, that woman's jacket and the looks that those guys are giving them, price, it's great.
It is great. Oh shit! But yeah, the use of the moon songs are perfect. The one in the beginning, there's like I think 3 different versions of Blue Moon in this movie. Anything moon dance for when they hook up, it works perfectly. You know what I mean? That like, and whatever the hell else. Bad Moon Rising for the transformation, and fuck the transformation. I mean, please.
Oh. Yeah, we were just talking about that. And that's when Brandon left. But yeah, that's to see it happen in front of you was just phenomenal. And
not only that, to hear the pain in his screams.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing that werewolf transformations have done pretty well in movies. You always get the sense from the character that it's a painful thing. And they even talk about it in a lot of films, how painful it is. It's not just one of these things like you see in Twilight where a guy's running and he jumps and all of a sudden he's a wolf. It's like an absolutely excruciating pain every single time because you're shedding your own skin and your bones are, transforming and stuff like that. And this one is just fucking brutal and brutal at the same time.
The one thing that's weird is they went not weird, cool, but they went the 4-legged wolf. Whereas I think the Howling actually took the Wolfman like almost like 2-legged approach.
I love the 4-legged. I love the 4-legged. I love the POV scene in the subway when he's out hunting. I love when the guy's coming up the stairs and you see him kind of walk in. You can see just
a tip.
Yeah. Just exactly. I love it. Love it. I'm like, just enough. You see him eating. You see him feeding on the flesh. It's great.
I don't know what I prefer, but there's something more animalistic about them being on all fours, which is kind of scary. Like if there was such a thing as a werewolf, that's what I would picture be, where someone could mistake it for a giant bear or a dog or something. Just, you know what I mean? That's more believable to me. If there was a werewolf, it would be on all fours. I don't know why. It's just.
I'd be terrified either way, but I do prefer it on all four. Although if I saw a howling werewolf or a dog soldier werewolf, I would shit myself just as likely. But I do prefer the all fours.
Or the wolf man, bipedal, I believe is the
bipedal,
the regular term.
I believe Christian's bipedal.
I've heard people complain that they think the transformation at the end is too quick, but they've already did the showstopper. Right. So you've already gotten the best transformation ever put to film, and still probably the best put to film.
I agree.
Again. And then what we're saying is so at the end, you can't just stop the movie again for it. So they do it quicker. They do show some different things. Like you see the nails.
Yep.
Piercing through his existing nails, which was a good add-on as well.
Yep.
So like they give you a little bit more some differentiation there. That guy does stand there for what seems like eternity, not asking if he needs any help. But he's just like, Get out of here! And he's like banging himself against the chair. The guy's just holding the flashlight there, like, are you okay? And let's talk about that porno. That porno is one of the funniest pornos ever.
See you next Wednesday.
Yeah, it always comes up in his movies. See you next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Before in your life. Not you, huh?
Oh, yeah. That's good. I never understood it. I don't know why they didn't call it See You Next Tuesday, because that would have been funnier.
I have a feeling that was a joke. I think he, for whatever reason, I always thought it was See You Next Tuesday because of that.
It's funnier, yeah.
Yeah, but
it's kind of funny how ridiculous and that it doesn't make sense. It's See You Next Wednesday, so it's funny in that sense.
Joke.
True.
I think that's about him. Like,
it's kind of like what Tarantino does with the red apple cigarettes. You know? It's just something. And of course, they talk about it in Michael Jackson's Thriller. They actually say it. It's something scrawled in blood. What's it say? See you next Wednesday. And that's the other Rick Baker transformation with John Landis, Michael Jackson's Thriller, which is not as good as this because, it was quicker, but still damn good and worth seeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh. So wait, so Rick Baker, you're saying transform Michael Jackson into a pedophile?
Yeah, a bipedal pedophile.
A bi-pedophile.
See?
Oh my God. Fucking gold, a bi-pedophile.
It makes sense because he was bipedal. That's the one difference they made with Rick Baker. Remember when Michael Jackson turned into a werewolf? He was on all fours, or on two. Sorry, he was on two legs.
They took they went the more Wolfman approach. That came out the year later, right? That was 82, correct?
Oh, 84 or 83. Sorry, 83.
Wait,
84.
I'm sorry. Which one was 83?
Michael Jackson's Thriller was 83.
Oh yeah.
On two legs. Yep. I'm talking about evil on two legs.
Another great line. When they're in the theater and it's the husband who's a lot more serious, and he goes, "Your carnivorous lunar activities." That's a great line. Your carnivorous lunar activities.
Oh, awesome! Oh shit. Yep.
Great scene. Oh my God, that chaos! The car pile up. Just fucking bodies hurling out windows, everyone getting run over. It's awesome.
The American emergency, or the UK emergency siren. It just adds another level.
Yeah.
Like it makes you irritable, but it adds to the level of intensity.
Dude, I love this time period when cars were so unsafe that you tap someone's rear bumper and you flew out the windshield. Everybody was like a projectile missile flying out.
At least it didn't explode on impact. That was only in American action films.
Yeah, you tap someone's bumper, you explode. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'll tell you, right before all that stuff's going on, when he makes the phone call, that's real sad too. When he calls his sister, tell them I love him.
Trying to slit his wrist there for a split second, right? He was.
Dude, that's cringe too when he puts that Swiss Army knife like right on when he pushes down on the vein a little. Ooh, yeah. He calls Rachel. He's like, "No, seriously, tell Mom and Dad.
Don't fight.
Don't fight with Max."
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's sad.
It's got heart. You care about these characters. This made me like John Nutton so much that I was like, why isn't this guy in more than Hot Dog the movie? And then like 10 years later, Body Parts. I know he was in other things, but it just seems like he should have had a way better film career.
He reminds me of another actor. Every time I see him in the beginning of this movie, I think he's somebody else. He looks just like another actor that's famous, and it's always going to bother me. Damn it. Maybe I'll know.
John Nutton. I think David Nutton.
Yes, David. And his name is David.
Yeah.
It's like Tony Danza, Maybe that's why he only can be called David in a movie, and they say, "Fuck you, buddy."
Remember Hot Dog movie?
I remember Hot Dog the movie, yeah, that ski resort movie. Yes. We should have a show one day where we review Hot Dog the movie, Hard Bodies, and Porky's or something. And what? Hamburger?
Yeah. Good Burger.
I never saw Hamburger. I figured it was just going to be a shitty sequel.
I didn't see that either because I just assumed it was a bad movie. Right. Hot Dog the movie though, was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was always on TV.
Yep. And so was this. This was always on HBO and all those places in the 80s. This American Werewolf, I'm sure the first time I saw it would have been on HBO or the movie channel or Cinemax, just there because it played a lot. That's for sure. How about when she says, have you ever been severe? Well, she says, have you ever been severely beaten about the face and neck? She's pretty specific.
No.
Yeah.
No. That's what you want to say to the kid, too. You want to say, kid, if you don't stop saying no, I'm going to fucking pulp. You're going to look like me, kid.
I like those scenes, though. Like, people might think, oh, that's pointless. But it just shows the depth to these characters.
No, it's great. How about when the one kid smacks her ass? Did you notice that?
Yeah. Right after the kid says no, the other kid comes by and just smacks her on the ass.
He's like, hey.
Never happened nowadays.
Hello, Nurse Price.
Yeah.
Okay, I sort of stand corrected because David Naughton's credits are 131 titles. But he disappeared from more mainstream style movies. So he's had a great career. It just seems like you expect him to see him more. And I really can't think of anything else that I remember him from.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not getting him confused with another actor. Maybe it's him. I don't know. I'll have to get back on that next show. How about the Doctor? Doesn't the Doctor kind of remind you guys of Dr. Chenard? I always think of him now because of Hellraiser.
Dr. Chenard.
He does. He sounds like him and looks like him, kind of.
His voice. And he's
Jewish too, Dr. Hirsch.
Is Dr. Chenard Jewish?
Dr. Chenard could be Jewish.
Okay, wow.
But he takes an investigative approach too. We've had 2 movies where a secondary character takes an investigative approach. So there's a connection here to try to find out a little bit more information. Some intel.
And that's what Brandon wanted in Autopsy of Jane Doe. It could have been 3 full head explosions for him if we only would have had a expository dump guy.
It's so easy to understand why an investigation was done. He says he's attacked by an animal. He clearly has claw marks on his face and on his body that could not have been done by a maniacal lunatic. So, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
I like the fact that the Doctor still maintains that even though he believes that that something else happened, that he believes the whole wolf thing is like a neurosis.
I know, it's stupid.
No, I like that. I like that the Doctor still, he doesn't believe that he's a werewolf. He believes that David's sick and believes he's a werewolf, that he's neurotic.
No. I'm sorry. No, that is correct. What I think is stupid is that they said there's an escaped lunatic and they just went with it.
Yeah.
Well, how could there be an escaped lunatic? There was no. First of all, who escaped? You know what I mean? How can anyone just say that? Well, it's an escaped lunatic. Well, I don't see anything about somebody escaping from a fucking mental facility. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. There were no mental facilities around, and obviously they're blaming, the werewolf will turn back into that guy. There should have been, there shouldn't have been more on it. I'm just saying, it's just they were able to cover it up, I guess, because it's such a small town,
right?
Small area.
Well, at least he killed everybody. He didn't turn anybody, did he? Did David turn anybody, or did he just kill every fucking person?
He just killed, which makes sense because he really didn't have not that werewolves have control. I mean, he only got turned by luck, but he was just hungry because he's always talking that he's not hungry. He's not hungry. That's because he doesn't realize he's going to eat when the moon's out.
John Landis, I would have liked to see more from him as well. He's great. He's directed some great things throughout the years. This was his werewolf movie. Of course, he did Innocent Blood as his vampire film.
Good movie.
Not nearly. I like it a lot. Not nearly successful as this, but it's a great movie and definitely should be seen. Because Dave, I think you said you either haven't seen it or haven't seen it in a long time.
I just bought it. I've never seen it. I just got it when they had the 4 for $44.
The Warner
Blu-ray sale.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm finally gonna see it. Yep.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what you think because it definitely kind of dabbles with the comedy horror. Maybe leans on the comedy a little bit more, but it's a very good film as well. I don't want to taint your.
Oh,
before you go in.
Because of the other Landis. The Blues Brothers is one of my favorite comedies ever, and Amos is another great one. So
that's who producers wanted for Jack and David. They wanted
Aykroyd and fucking Belushi.
Aykroyd and Belushi.
That wouldn't have worked. That'd be too much.
That's what they wanted because this was right after Blues Brothers.
They wanted Chevy Chase, but he kept tripping way before they even got to the Moors. So they said no Chevy Chase.
Was Heathcliff there?
What?
Heathcliff. They talk about Heathcliff on the Moors.
Yeah, they sure do. Heathcliff. Yeah.
Wuthering Heights. That's what it's a reference to.
Oh, Heathcliff. Not the cat.
Not the cat.
Sorry.
The literature.
I'm usually thinking about cats. Sorry. Wasn't there a cat in this movie too? Didn't a cat do something to him? Or was it a dog? Remember he went somewhere and an animal had a reaction to him?
Dog. I think a dog just started barking at him.
Oh yeah, the two little girls with the dog. Thanks, dog.
How about that thing that happened when I was looking for the Blu-ray and it was the exact same thing at the same time? How fucked up is that? So I'm watching this Blu-ray and I'm thinking it looks really good, but I don't remember this movie getting the special treatment. So I'm like, did this ever happen? Did we ever have
pause it? Remember, so you paused the movie.
So I paused the movie to
Thank you.
I paused the movie to look on Blu-ray.com to see if there was one, and then I saw in fact that there was an Arrow one, and then I went down. I was scrolling down. I was scrolling down, and I saw that it said, they were talking about video quality, and the scene that they showed was the exact same fucking scene. How do you like that? Look at that.
Frame that. Well, we can't see shit. It's all fucked up, but it's all the exact same frame.
Yeah,
that he
I see myself.
I gotta fix it because
paused the frame, and the image on the Blu-ray.com was the exact same. That's
It freaked me out. It freaked me out for sure.
Cool. It was cool though.
It freaked me out too. I'm gonna show it, but you guys keep talking.
And that Arrow Blu-ray is wonderful. I love it.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Is there stuff?
Yeah. I mean, they put so much great work into their releases, with special features, books and posters. Even though I never utilize that stuff, it's just it's nice as a collector when they do that.
That's what I want. I want to make sure they have all the good stuff and they have the the background shit. So look, check it out. Here it is for everybody to see. Okay, that's when I was watching the movie, and that was the fucking write-up on Blu-ray.com. It was the exact same time. I go, holy fuck.
Dude, that's shocking.
No shit. It blew me. That's why I had to show it. It blew me the fuck
I know,
away.
but it's
like radio away.
It blew out my shitter.
It blew Christian's tooth clear out of his mouth. He's like,
oh, poor me.
Poor me.
Poor me. Poor bastard, you.
Oh, man, what a
this
great
movie
film.
can't escape this. It can't escape nostalgia for me. I try to separate it, and I still think it's fantastic. The practical effects, the acting, the comedic elements, the progression of story. I'd be lying to say, Dave, I slightly agree. The second act, right before the transformation scene,
a little bit,
but just a little bit. But I'm never bored. I'm never bored, but I'd be like, maybe that would be a gripe if I was a first-time watcher coming into this and saying, what are these guys talking about? Let me go check this movie out. But that is really it, because otherwise it's boom, 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 boom. The only other thing is that what they take you to a level of, because you like him, you like her. There's an emotional end. They show a shot, and it's bomb, bang, 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 bang,
yeah.
Food. I mean, it kills. You're like, what? Like, I like it for that on one hand, and I'm like, it just destroyed a really intimate moment. But I guess that's
the comedy of it.
That's the reaction.
The comedy of it. It's great. It's like, what an emotional end scene. I love you, David. He tells her he loves her. She finally tells him she loves him, and dead and and just back to comedy.
Yep. How about Rick Baker? Blue moon, blue moon. Yeah.
Makeup artist and creature creator Rick Baker?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
We love him very, 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 very much.
Very, 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 very awesome. But it's true. They made the award for him. They fucking they came around. They said, we've got to start giving out awards for practical effects, and he got the very first Oscar for this movie. You all right? Was that a hockey stick?
Yeah,
I brought it to myself.
Oh, wow. Very, 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 very.
You got to tell people where that's from. Okay, wait. Don't do it right away. Guys, think about it. This is for you listeners out there. This is a trivia question that we like artist and makeup creator Rick Baker very, 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 very much. What movie? You guys can let the cat out of the bag now.
A richly deserved. Oh, sorry.
very richly deserved shout out to summer school.
Yep. To sum it up, I'm Chainsaw.
And I'm Dave.
And we'll see you at the movies.
Why would you be Chainsaw and he be fucking Dave?
Well, sorry, I said it first. I came up with it. What do you want from me? If he would have said I'm Chainsaw,
Dave is not Dave.
it would have been perfect.
You passed and I failed. You asshole.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll try it again. I'm sure I can fail.
Dude, we should review summer school next.
There's another one, Summer School.
Good movie, man.
Oh, it's great. I love it. And I love this one. So, excellent. So what are we going to say?
I think, I think we could wrap it up, but I'll say, where you think it lags, I like that they establish and build the relationship more with Alex and David in the hospital. And then, you see him kind of bored once he goes back with her. But I like the fact that he stays with her and it builds that a little bit more versus, all of a sudden transitioning right from the hospital to him living with her. It'd be like, what, he shacked up with her after 2 seconds? No, they showed the connection being built. So with that said, I'll come in. I'm a full head explosion and nomination for a Hall of Fame because I'm a perfect score on this film.
Whoa! I'm right there with you. Full head, and I will give it a nomination. It is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, well, I agree. It's full head explosion and deserving of Hall of Fame. So there you go. American Werewolf makes it. Yep. Awesome. Yay! Look at that. Perfect timing. Huh?
That works
Awesome.
so good. He
Awesome.
got that perfectly. He could get his whole arm to disappear.
That was wonderful. Yes. Okay, we're gonna be out of here. Next show for everybody at home. Here's your homework. Oops, I can't even type anymore. Blue moon, blue moon. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Show 107. Lovely Molly, Devil's Pass, and Hardware.
Two movies I've never seen.
What?
I've never seen Devil's Pass, and I've never seen Hardware.
You gave me, everybody, go back to episode 10. Now that's horror. And when I say Hardware is my favorite horror film in 1990, Brandon gives me shit.
No, I know. I remember that. I always give people shit about Hardware, even though I've never seen it.
There you go. Interesting. Okay, well.
Spoiler.
That's okay. That'll be a show.
Hold up.
It's all good. All right. Well, we got to get out of here, everybody. We love you. Stay safe. And, yeah. What else can we say?
We love you a long time.
Peace out.
You should say,